Good morning and welcome to Joy News at 6. The news is live on Joy 99.7 FM and hits 103.9 FM in Accra. In Kumasi, we're on Love 99.5 FM and over 30 affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions, including Sankara FM Yendi, Laura FM Laura and Radio Mac Takoradi. Get radio, TV and online content on the myjoyonline.com interactive app for Android and iOS devices. This morning, Parliament suspends confirmation of Ekufuado's new ministers after rejecting a presidential directive to the clerk to cease sending the anti-gay bill to the president due to an ongoing case in the Supreme Court.
The House is unable to continue to consider the nominations of His Excellency the President, to use the language of the Attorney General and Minister for Justice, quote, in the spirit of upholding the rule of law.
We'll hear from both the majority and minority sides who are divided over the issue.
And we stand with the Speaker of Parliament in this. Don't be surprised that we will begin impeachment proceedings against the President.
We in the majority beg to disagree on the position taken by him.
Also, the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission fights off claims by 3 teacher unions. It delayed negotiations on their collective agreement, which is chief among reasons cited for their strike.
Salaries Commission, Ministry of Finance, and the Ministry of Employment, Labour and of Education are meeting to address all this.
In business,
government targets deal with private external creditors on debt restructuring earlier than projected after signing non-disclosure agreement with the lenders. We've got details on the Joy Business Report.
And as we continue in our Filth exhibition series, we'll tell you how a piece of land in a prime area here in Accra, very close to the Independence Square, has become a dumping ground and an open defecation spot.
Many people have been doing that.
Why were you defecating?
Defecating here, if you are defecating here, those who are living around here, they will not call it to be a crime because it's a lowland.
These are more with me, Mami Sinyamiche Thompson. Please stay. In our first story, Parliament has suspended the approval of new ministers while rejecting a directive to the clerk to cease sending the anti-gay bill to the president, citing a pending case at the Supreme Court. Speaker of Parliament Alban Babin, expressing frustration, announced on Wednesday night that the House will withhold consideration of the president's ministerial nominees until the court reaches a decision on a case filed by the Member of Parliament, Roxanne Nelson Dafiamakpo.
The existing legal frameworks and reject the attempts by the Executive Secretary of the President through his contemptuous letter to instruct the clerk to Parliament, we shall not cease and desist. In the light of this process, the House is unable to continue to consider the nominations of His Excellency the President, to use the language of the Attorney General and Minister for Justice, quote, in the spirit of upholding the rule of law, until after the determination of the application for interlocutory injunction by the Supreme Court.
Well, the minority has rallied behind the Speaker, pledging to initiate impeachment proceedings against the President. Dr. Kasiala Tufosin's minority leader.
We in the NDC minority is ready to protect the sanctity of the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. And we stand with the Speaker of Parliament in this. It is obvious that His Excellency the President has breached the Constitution, and we will advise ourselves. In the coming days, don't be surprised that we will begin impeachment proceedings against the President.
But the majority disagrees with the Speaker's statement. Alexander Venumarking is majority leader.
We in the majority beg to disagree on the position taken by him. If you carefully read the letter that was sent to Parliament, Mr. President limited himself to the processes before the courts. And the fact that Parliament itself, through an affidavit, had joined issues. Parliament has filed an affidavit in opposition and is in court. In fact, Parliament is a party to the suit. So for us, we do not see how this would have to affect the proceedings of Parliament.
Away from that, the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission is fighting off claims by 3 teacher unions in delayed negotiations on their collective agreement. The striking teachers also cited Ghana Education Services' failure to complete the distribution of laptops to all teachers, as well as freezing salaries of its members by the Office of the Special Prosecutor as some of the reasons for their strike. Let's take a listen to Dr. Isaac Owusu, President of the Ghana National Association of Teachers.
Delay with negotiation of the new collective agreement. It will interest you to know that
Following the expiration of the collective agreement in 2023, negotiation of the new collective agreement should have completed on or before February 29 this year. But this has not been so. Thus, the new collective agreement stands unnegotiated.
Well, my colleague Samuel Imbura joins me in studio with details of a statement by the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission. Samuel, what are the main highlights?
Mamisi, according to the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, the government reached an agreement on 10 out of 16 items with the teacher unions during a meeting on January 20, 2024. The Fair Wages and Salaries Commission indicated the need for further mandate from the Ministry of Finance to conclude negotiations, to which the teacher unions agreed. An invitation for a meeting on March 21 was extended to continue these negotiations, despite preparations and no indication of unavailability from the teacher unions. They initiated an indefinite strike without proper notice, deemed a breach of the Labour Act and rules of engagement. The Fair Wages and Salaries Commission is appealing to the teacher unions to end the strike and return to negotiations in good faith.
Well, thank you, Samuel Imbura. Meanwhile, technical advisor to the sector, Minister Bright Rekobrobi, is asking the teachers to reconsider their decision.
We are meeting them, God willing, on Friday morning, and to ensure that government side, i.e. Fair Wages Salaries Commission, Ministry of Finance, and the Minister of Employment, Labour Relations, and of Education are meeting to address all this. So we shouldn't go beyond Monday addressing the issue of strike. I beg every stakeholder.
But Deputy General Secretary for the Coalition of Concerned Teachers, Patrick Nisaki, says he doesn't believe government will be able to resolve their grievances.
The issue started not today, and I don't think that the issues at stake, all of them, can be addressed by Friday. The issue of teacher laptops, we started drumming home the teacher laptops not today. It's been over 3 years since these were deducted from the teacher's salary.
Now, in a prime area nestled between Accra's iconic landmarks, Independence Square, and the burial place of former President John Evans Atta Mills, the Asumdre Park, a distressing reality has emerged. This area, situated on the road leading to the former seat of government, the Christianborg Castle, has transformed into a dumping ground and a hub for open defecation. In our series Daft Field exhibition, Maxwell Agbagba brings us a report on this alarming situation.
The Independence Square, a reminder of Ghana's freedom from her colonial masters. Right beside it is the piece of land which also serves as a reminder to some unpatriotic citizens of their freedom. Freedom to openly defecate and dump their garbage.
Ghana, we now have freedom. Ghana, land of freedom.
It seems the authorities have found the perfect spot for a sit-down protest against waste management. Or perhaps it is the city authorities' way of saying, Happy Independence Day, enjoy the sights and smell. Right here, we confronted a man who had just finished defecating on this hallowed ground.
Why were you defecating here?
That low land, they've been shitting there for a long time. And it was like Bola, the rubbish dump.
And that was Agwagwa's report on field exhibition. Now, maize farming communities often face surplus maize cobs, usually discarded as waste. Additionally, the laboratory's processes of maize shelling dissuades potential farmers. The Technology Consultancy Center of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology is addressing this by training maize farmers to repurpose cobs into briquettes for construction. Love FM's Chrissy Debra has more for Tech Thursday.
The move is meant to transform what was once considered waste. The initiative extends the value chain of maize cobs, contributing to more sustainable practices and fostering a circular economy. Kenneth Donko and Johnson Asante are with KNUST TCC Summit.
The essence of this training is to help the participants, make use of their local produce product, which is the farm product waste, and convert it into a useful venture. So they will get the corn cobs, char it, and then turn them into a clean energy saving fuel.
And before we go, the play The Gods Are Not to Blame, a depiction of Olaroteme's classic, which captivated audiences last year, is back on stage with a rejuvenated energy, pulsating through every scene. The play's timeless tale of fate will unfold again from today, this evening through to Saturday at the National Theatre. If you missed the first one or are wanting to see it again, here are excerpts.
One who murdered King Adetusa, the king before I became king of this land of Kutuje. Pray, tell, who is this murderer?
I smelled it. I smelled the truth as I came to this land. Now it is choking me. Yeah.
For the love of the gods, do not turn away.
Pray, let me depart from here in peace.
Hey, lock that door.
Step back.
And on that note, we end the bulletin here on Joe 99.7 FM and over 30 affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions. Up next is Business on the Super Morning Show.
You know, Papa, see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa! Bobo, so how your engine now? It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Quartz and you can feel better energy. Can't touch this. Actually, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that? Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched. Sancho Panzapa. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz? No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer. Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency. Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation Movement World Cup like that? Sorry. Chairman. Hey, Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
Millennium Insurance has enhanced its motor insurance policy cover to make life more comfortable for you, our valued clients, and in the event of vehicle breakdown whilst on the road. To ensure your safety and that of your vehicle, Millennium Insurance will ensure that your broken down vehicle is towed to a safe place within 1 hour of call and 30 kilometers radius from the place of breakdown. This service is absolutely free. Millennium Insurance, your trustworthy partner, is on standby to be of service to you. Contact us now on 0501 394 997 or 0501 285 821, 0501 394 997 or 0501 285 821.
Millennium Insurance, your trustworthy partner.
No matter your water needs, Syntex has it all. Syntex tank was first to introduce double layer tank, and now you can have as many layers as you want. Syntex tank was first to introduce white inner layer tanks in Ghana, and now introduces the customer specs order, which will let you order any color and size you want. Syntex tanks gives you the biggest warranty of 7 years, which no other tank gives you. So whatever your water consumption, size of project, or demand, choose Syntex tank. Syntex tank, stress-free. Syntex tank, reliable. Syntex tank, maximum guarantee. Call 0244 335 168, Kumasi 0505 555 666, or visit syntexgh.com. Syntex tank, a strong, a tough.
Hello, Accra! The biggest playground event is back again. Indomie Fest 2024. This Easter, all roads lead to the Ifwa Sutherland Children's Park to witness the biggest fun fair in Accra. Are you ready to meet real-life superheroes? Be at Indomie Fest 2024 to meet the Indomitables. This Easter Monday, April 1st, 2024. A day to enjoy Indomie instant noodle recipes and a day for kids to play all day. There'll be bouncy castles, photo booths, piñatas, trampolines, and many more. Grab your ticket for 5 Ghana cedis only and enjoy performances from the Beam Nation President, Stone Boy, and many more. All at the Ifwa Sutherland Children's Park. For more information, contact 0549 012567. Indomie Fest, proudly brought to you by Indomie Instant Noodles.
Hello, Auntie Araba. Hey, Bugger, how are you doing today? I want to buy Pepsodent Cavity Fighter, but I don't have enough money. So what are you going to do? Can you give me the big size? You know, as for me, I'll pay the balance later. Today, no credit. I haven't sold much this morning. If you don't have enough money for the big size, why don't you try the 120-gram pack? There's a 120-gram pack? Introducing the new Pepsodent Cavity Fighter in 120-gram pack size. More affordable and convenient. Get yours today from any supermarket near you. Every smile matters. This advert is FDA approved.
Hello? Yo, bro! SG Ghana has done it again. Low interest rates on loans this year too. Yatisubium.
Charlie, I did throw inside. Let me call you back.
Call SG Ghana rather. Collect loan and buy car, my guy. Very low interest rates on loans this year too. It's difficult to keep good news to yourself, especially when it can transform your life and those close to you. SG Ghana went low on interest rates last year, and this year we are even lower. Yes, Yatisubium. Get the money you need to turn your dreams into a reality. Visit any SG Ghana branch near you and speak to our dedicated staff about the amazing Yatisubium loans today. You can also call 0302-214-314 for more details.
Ojo, it's 3 a.m. What now?
Yatisubium. Okay, bye. Societe Generale Ghana. The future is you.
All right, so welcome back, and thank you very much for staying with us here on the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. And the 6 a.m. news brought to us by Millennium Insurance, your trustworthy partner, and Total Energies. Total, we go the extra mile for you. Coming up is the Joy Business Report brought to us by Omni Bisek Bank at your service. Akbavu.
Morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm good. You?
I'm fine. Yesterday I was home and I heard a lot of things about happening in Parliament. I don't know whether to call it a showdown in Manila or showdown in Little Tokyo.
You could say so.
Or showdown in Little Accra.
Wow.
How would you term that?
I don't know how to describe it. Well, it was just so, I don't know what to say. Exciting to watch, maybe.
Well, I've seen the majority leader's statement about how the speaker has frustrated government business. They had bills to consider. It says that, the suit is against ministers who moved to from their various positions into other ministries. And so why is the speaker saying they are not going to consider the nominees? Just listen to the speaker first of all.
To continue to consider the nominations of His Excellency the President, to use the language of the Attorney General and Minister for Justice, quote, in the spirit of upholding the rule of law, until after the determination of the application for interlocutory injunction by the Supreme Court.
Yes. So we're waiting. But this man would have that conversation. I mean, lots of issues here and there. First of all, the speaker clearly says the president got it wrong. Did the president get it wrong? He's actually referred to the advice or the statement by the Attorney General, who says, do not assent until the determination of these cases. He did not say, do not accept transmission of it, or do not accept it. So the speaker says, you got it wrong. Now, the speaker then goes ahead to say, I can't do this because of this particular suit that is also pending at the Supreme Court. Did the speaker get it wrong? How will this impact government business? But also coming up this morning, I'm sure you would have this in your report.
We are going to start with a clean slate in 2025. And that is why in 2025, we are going to grant a tax amnesty to all businesses and individuals and start afresh.
We are starting afresh.
We're starting afresh.
Well, I don't know if it's believable. I mean, I don't know how the business community is going to take this. Always a question comes up. So you have these ideas. Why aren't we seeing them, or why didn't we see them unfold during the time during this time that you are in power as vice president? I'm just wondering for the business community as well.
Well, you're just wondering. Would ask the other question. This would not be the first time we've given tax amnesty. It's been done before.
it's been done. In fact, the last 2 years, even last 2 years, we're talking about those who, who will just come, even the penalties and everything will be waived. I'm sure you may have heard it. We did this LPM for a very long time. In 2017 also, there were tax amnesties.
What happened to that?
What happened to all of them? And what's this whole thing about? On Tuesday we're having a conversation about tourism, and Abeku John Kwanzaa was talking about the complex nature of even Ghana's VAT system. He says it's going to make it simple. How simple would that be? Anyway, we'll have all of these conversations here on the Super Morning Show. But now time for the Joy Business Report with Darryl Kwao and the team.
Hello, welcome to the Joy Business Report. Coming up this morning, government targets deal with private external creditors on debt restructuring earlier than projected after signing non-disclosure agreement with the lenders. Also coming up, size of Ghana's economy stood at 841.63 billion cedis in 2023, driven by the services sector. We hear from the Ghana Statistical Service. Plus, Ghana faces risk of not achieving a green economy if it continues to engage in practices that deplete the environment. We'll tell you why. Stay with us. Hey, thanks for being with us. Hello to our friends listening from Koforidua on KTU Radio. My name is Darryl Kwao. Government is now expecting to finalize debt restructuring deal with private external creditors than earlier projected. This was after it signed a non-disclosure agreement with representatives of these lenders. There's more in the following report.
Government was projecting that by the end of April this year, it should have been able to reach a deal with these private creditors and Eurobond holders in terms of restructuring their debt. But after an initial deal that no one can disclose the terms of the debt restructuring, sources say government has been able to climb a major hurdle here. Therefore, it might in the coming days move quickly to reach a deal with these private creditors on restructuring of their debts. Joy Business is learning that both parties have shown some strong commitment about concluding the negotiations on their debt restructuring as quickly as possible. Joy Business understands that the private creditors also want a deal reached soon so they can get a better understanding in terms of when government will start settling debts owed them. The development is coming at a time that the IMF Managing Director, Christina Gogiva, disclosed that Ghana is close to signing a memorandum of understanding with the bilateral creditors on restructuring of their debts. On the part of government, post-agreement on these debt restructuring will help in the resumption of some stalled projects that are financed by these private external creditors.
Georgia, I feel with that report. The size of Ghana's economy stood at 841.63 billion cedis in 2023. This is compared to 614.33 billion cedis recorded in 2022. According to the Ghana Statistical Service, the services sector constituted the biggest sector, accounting for 357.34 billion cedis. Here's more from the annual gross domestic product data for 2023. According to data from the Ghana Statistical Service, industry sector contracted by 1.2% compared to 0.6% in 2022. The services sector remains the biggest contributor to the growth of the economy. Agric sector grew at the rate of 4% in 2023 compared to 4.5% in 2022. Government statistician Professor Samuel Kwabnenim said the last quarter of 2023, however, recorded a higher growth rate of 3.8% driven by the oil and gas subsector.
The overall growth rate for the economy, which started with 3.1% in the first quarter of 2023, slowing down to 2.5 and 2.2% in the second and third quarters of 2023, inching up to 3.8% in the fourth quarter of 2023, and with these 4 quarters overall growth rate, the economy grew by 2.9% in the year 2023.
For the first time in more than a year, oil GDP growth of 3.8% for the last quarter of 2023 was higher than the non-oil growth rate of 3.4%. Professor Kobna Enim explains.
The last time Ghana saw an oil GDP higher than a non-oil GDP was in the second quarter of 2020. So in the last 14 months, this is the first time that we've seen another incidence where oil GDP has grown faster than non-oil GDP in the last quarter of 2023, specifically with oil GDP growing at 3.8% and non-oil GDP growing at 3.4%.
The Ghana Statistical Service, however, however, indicated that these growth figures are provisional. And meanwhile, the director of Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research, Professor Peter Quarter, is predicting a high growth rate for the first 3 quarters of the year, but not without job creation in the agri and industry sectors. According to the Statistical Service, Ghana's economy grew by 2.9% in 2023, stronger than the revised 1.5% by the Finance Ministry. Speaking to Joy Business, Professor Quarter said government must be deliberate with its policy initiatives aimed at growing the economy.
I think globally and even in our 2024 budget, we are projecting 2024 to be much better than the previous year. So we are likely to see, all things being equal, we are likely to see higher growth rates as we've seen in the last quarter of 2023. We're likely to see higher growth rates in the first 3 quarters and possibly the last quarter of 2024. What we cannot say for sure is the fiscal after 2024, whether will maintain prudent fiscal balance and therefore will not suffer the political business cycle or election business cycle as we used to in every election year.
Director of the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research, Professor Peter Quarter there. Now, small and medium enterprises under the African Continental Free Trade Area will benefit from a $6 billion loan facility in the next 3 years. This is the commitment made by the United Bank for Africa, UBA. Speaking at a sensitization seminar after head of wholesale banking, Peter Derry disclosed that the facility will be available to support businesses across the continent to grow in the hope of addressing challenges associated with financing.
Anywhere you go, they will tell you the banks are not supportive. And that is why we have consciously made that effort to develop products that will support our exporters, tailor-made for our exporters, so that they will be able to produce more and sell more. And not only that, just last year, we signed an agreement with AFTA to support SMEs across Africa with $6 billion in the next 3 years.
You had the head of wholesale banking at UBA Ghana Limited, Peter Derry there. While economist Professor Texen is making a strong case for the African Continental Free Trade Area to explore various global funding options to support the growth of trade. According to him, the intra-trade activities within the continent would grind to a halt if proper measures are not put in place in line with funding. Professor Texen says that member states can reach out to the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development and other agencies for infrastructure support.
For building infrastructure, as we talk, as we've all come to sign on to the Continental African Free Trade Area, there's the need to put in place cross-national infrastructure. Africa can make a case to the G20 countries or the OECD to advance money to build these across-country infrastructure like roads, like road networks, and so on and so forth. So these are pressing needs that will help African countries to be able to properly integrate and increase their presence on the global trading system.
Professor Texen is an economist. Now, Ghana faces the risk of not achieving a green economy if it continues to engage in practices that deplete the environment. This according to preliminary findings from the Ghana Statistical Service as it develops a robust natural capital accounting system. The system seeks to gather data and formulate a sustainable reporting system aimed at achieving sustainable economy in the short to medium term. Dr. Bernice Sewa Ofosubedu, head of agriculture and environment statistics at the Ghana Statistical Service, spoke to Joy Business at a stakeholder engagement on natural capital accounting.
For the land accounting that we have compiled, though it's not finalized, but we've realized that there are some net changes. If you look at the net changes, some are negative with respect to the ecosystem. Whilst you are producing, you have to produce to make your environment sustainable. You don't produce and have degradation of your land. You don't have to produce to have a depletion of your natural resources, so that when the future, there will be nothing for the future generation. So we are all doing this so that it can inform policies, so that if you know that there's a lot of depletion, then policies can come on board to reduce the level of depletion for our future generation.
Dr. Bernice Sewa Ofosubedu, head of agriculture and environment statistics at the Ghana Statistical Service. Now, Associate Professor in International Sustainable Development Law at the University of Northampton, Dr. Ebenezer Laye, has highlighted the dangers of plastic mulch to food systems and health. Speaking to Joy Business at a stakeholder engagement held by the university's Fresh Produce Impact Hub in Accra, Dr. Laye advocated adopting sustainable mulching alternatives. He emphasized the importance of conserving the soil for future generations.
Use the plastic agricultural mulch to give them higher yields because it helps them to retain moisture in the soil. But of course, the downside is that a lot of this plastic remains in the soil, and that is a huge problem for Ghana's future soil fertility. With the funding that we've received from the UK government, specifically the FCDO through Fresh Pact project, is to trial this new sustainable mulch, which is made from coconut coir. It is biodegradable.
Dr. Ebenezer Laye, the Associate Professor in International Sustainable Development Law at the University of Northampton there. Now, the Executive Chairman of the Nyaho Group, Dr. Elikem Tamaklo, has hinted of plans to empower health personnel with technology and digital skills to ensure efficient use of telemedicine to make health care accessible for all. According to him, technology has become part of daily life, solving solutions, and the need to include it in saving lives. Dr. Tamaklo was speaking to Joy Business at a ceremony to launch a strategic policy and reward scheme for the year.
So by the end of everything, over the next few years, patients should be able to have access to their medical information as well as to be able to go anywhere with their information. I should highlight that we cannot just say putting in technology is enough. We talked about the fact that we're training our people. Our people are the ones who deliver the care. So we're training our people to be digital natives. That means that we want doctors, nurses to be very comfortable with technology and be part of the innovative solutions that are going to come out. So that's why we announced this restructure, to allow us to do care well, but also to build our new infrastructure well.
Dr. Elikem Tamaklo, Executive Chairman of the Nyaho Group, on today's Investor Eye. You have the right to ask questions when any investment product is being sold to you. Don't just accept an investment product without thoroughly understanding the terms and conditions on such products. Let's listen to Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission, Reverend Daniel Ogbamitete.
If an individual realizes they have been duped or deceived, there are several immediate remedial measures they can take. Here are some of the steps to be considered. 1. Stay calm and control your emotions. It is important to remain calm and composed when you discovering that you have been duped. Losing your control can sometimes further mistakes or impulsive decisions. 2. Gather evidence. Try to gather all available evidence of the deception. This includes any documents, email, message, or other form of communication that can support your claim. Take snapshots, that's screenshots, photos, or make copies of relevant record to preserve the evidence.
All right, and that's Investor Eye for today. Before we go, let's check the markets. The currency market, the dollar going for 13 cedis 40 pesos, the pound 16 cedis 88 pesos, the euro going for 14 cedis 48 pesos. On the commodity market, crude oil open trading at $86 a barrel this morning. Gold went up by more than $17. It's selling at $2,204 an ounce. Cocoa increased by almost $300 and trading this morning at $8,324 a ton. More news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. It's back to Winston and the team with more of the Super Morning Show.
Yeah, thank you very much, Daryl Kwawa, a.k.a. Akpafu. Enjoy your day.
A.k.a. the ancestor.
Oh, who's the ancestor? There's another Winston in the house. Maybe he's the ancestor.
Winston Taki.
Yeah, Winston Taki. He handed over to me on Tuesday and I said, this is the first time in my life you have one Winston handing over.
To another Winston.
Anyway, let's now go for our inspirational song for today. And it's one by Noble Nketia.
Okay.
You remember him?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. This one.
I remember that.
Yeah, that's our inspirational song for today here on the Super Morning Show. Ketia with Berima Yesu. Good morning, George Riafi.
Hi, good morning, Winston.
How are you doing?
Managing.
You're managing?
Yes, please.
George is managing.
In this economy, you have to try, strategize, and manage.
Charlie, if you're managing, then what should the rest of us do?
You are a senior
We're
consultant.
doing Papa.
A senior consultant. So I think that it is well with you.
Please don't create problems for me.
I am the one doing Papa to survive.
Oh well, if we are going to rate by cars, then when someone says she's doing Papa, you have your own concerns to talk about.
Okay, well, let's get into a Drive Safe campaign this morning, brought to us by Joy News and the Multimedia Group and supported by Toyota. Superior quality and Imperial General Assurance, solid protection. Avoid all distractions. But first, before I tell you that, let me just tell you, it's instinctive. My tip today says control your fear. It's instinctive for us to let fear take control when we meet a challenge on the road. However, building the right beliefs about driving confidence will allow logic and good practice to dominate any challenges. That's our tip for today.
All right, and Say It Right is brought to you by Kingdom Books. At Kingdom, quality and affordability are their hallmarks. Societe Generale Bank Ghana, the future is you.
Something must be done.
You say either, I say either.
So we've been learning about, voiced and voiceless sounds. So I'm sure by now you know what constitute voiced and voiceless sounds. And so for instance, if you add S to a voice sound, it's if you add S to a voiceless sound, it's S. Now let's move on to another thing I want us to learn today. GLSSES. GLASSES. So now we're adding ES or S to S, as in still dealing with plural markers. And the question is, how do you pronounce it if you add plural, as in S or ES, to an S? Amavi, you want to give it a try?
Please go ahead.
So this word is pronounced glasses.
Glasses. Oh.
Glasses.
Charlie, I'm
glasses. Glasses.
The one she has on?
Oh, yes, the one she has on. So you would say these are eyeglasses. Or if you want to say glasses, it's glasses. You just don't say glasses.
Mm-hmm. And how do you pronounce the one that the glass, the drinking glass,
Same.
Oh, okay.
It's the same word, glasses.
Okay.
Okay? So if you want to say it right, that's how you say it right.
Yeah, call grass keba. Grass.
Okay, so you now know how to say it right. Let's get into our newspaper review. George, what's the problem?
Oh, nothing.
It's brought to us by Syntex Tanga, your strong, your tough, and Enterprise Insurance. At 100 Yafini promotion, celebrating our legacy, securing your future. And before we get into the papers, yesterday in Parliament, you can call it showdown, maybe in Little Accra or in Little Tokyo. But the Speaker of Parliament says they are unable to consider the President's nominees for various ministerial positions based on a case pending before Parliament, having learnt from the President. Listen to the Speaker.
The existing legal frameworks and reject the attempts by the Executive Secretary of the President through his contemptuous letter to instruct the Clerk to Parliament, we shall not cease and desist. In the light of this process, the House is unable to continue to consider the nominations of His Excellency the President, to use the language of the Attorney General and Minister for Justice, quote, in the spirit of upholding the rule of law, until after the determination of the application for interlocutory injunction by the Supreme Court.
We in the NDC minority is ready to protect the sanctity of the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. And we stand with the Speaker of Parliament in this. It is obvious that His Excellency the President has breached the Constitution, and we will advise ourselves. In the coming days, don't be surprised that we will begin impeachment proceedings against the President.
We in the majority beg to disagree on the position taken by him. If you carefully read the letter that was sent to Parliament, Mr. President limited himself to the processes before the courts. And the fact that Parliament itself, through an affidavit, had joined issues. Parliament has filed an affidavit in opposition and is in court. In fact, Parliament is a party to the suit. So for us, we do not see how this would have to affect the proceedings of Parliament.
Okay, so you heard there from first the Speaker and then the Minority Leader and then the Majority Leader. These are things that are captured in the papers. So I'm sure we can go into the papers now and then tell you how the various papers captured
so
it.
So just do the quick headlines here. In the Daily Guide, it has Obuha judged as the most innovative CEO. And also elections 2024. Of the 75,000 biometric devices intact according to the EC. Also the lead story, Babeng's showdown Parliament won't approve ministers. There's also a story about Professor Bene's killer jailed 30 years. And Chamber of Commerce endorses Baumia's private sector growth policy. We also have another story in the headlines in the Finder. GNCCI embraces Baumia's policy, suggests additional measures. Teachers declare nationwide strike. Akufo-Addo to launch Ghana Smart Schools project. And Save Water pushes for adoption of innovative water solution. So we're back into the bit about the Parliament Babwen's showdown. And I'm basing my comment on not just what has happened in Parliament yesterday, but in previous instances, and this whole hang Parliament. And for me, my prayer to God, apart from peaceful elections, whoever wins the 2024 elections should have a clear majority in Parliament and have their own speaker. I think that this hang Parliament thing and speaker thing hasn't helped in terms of our whole democracy thing. So whoever wins elections should have a clear majority in the House and have their own speaker. That's it.
Okay. But talking about that, people have asked questions about Roxanne's suit first, and I have a copy of it here. So let me just read, the nature of reliefs that are being sought. One, a declaration that under Article 78.1 of the 1992 Constitution, a Minister of State shall be appointed by the President with the prior approval of Parliament. 2, a declaration that under Article 81A of the Constitution, the office of the Minister of State or Deputy Minister shall become vacant if his appointment is revoked, terminated, or relieved of that portfolio by the President. 3, a declaration that upon a true and proper interpretation of Articles 78.1 and 81A of the Constitution, a Minister of State or Deputy Minister of State who has had his appointment revoked, terminated, or relieved of portfolio by the President cannot be reassigned to another ministerial or deputy ministerial office without prior approval of Parliament. 4, a declaration that upon a true and proper interpretation of Article 78.1 and 81A of the Constitution, once a Minister of State or Deputy Minister of State has had his appointment revoked, terminated, or relieved of that portfolio by the President, that Minister of State or Deputy Minister of State must be subjected to the requirement of prior parliamentary approval before the Minister of State or Deputy Minister of State is reappointed as a Minister or Deputy Minister of State. Then it's 6, a declaration 5, a declaration that upon a true and proper interpretation of Article 78.1 and 81A of the Constitution, the Ministers of State and Deputy Ministers of State whose appointments were revoked on the 14th of February 2024 cannot be reappointed to other ministerial and deputy ministerial offices without prior approval of Parliament. 6, a declaration that failure and or refusal of the President of the Republic of Ghana to seek the prior approval of Parliament before purporting to reassign the Ministers of State and Deputy Ministers of State whose appointments were revoked or terminated or relieved of their portfolios on the 14th of February 2024 amounts to a direct violation of Articles 78.1 and 81A of the Constitution. 7, a declaration that any ministerial appointment which has not been subject to prior parliamentary approval is in direct violation of Article 78.1 of the Constitution. Now, this is the part that you've been interested in. 9, an order of interlocutory injunction restraining the Speaker of Parliament, the first defendant herein, from proceeding with the vetting and approval of the names of the nominees
of the President submitted to Parliament until the requirement that a Minister of State shall be appointed by the President with prior approval of Parliament is satisfied in respect to the Ministers of State and the Deputy Ministers of State whose appointments were revoked on the 14th of February 2024 have been reassigned new ministerial and deputy ministerial offices. And 10, an order of perpetual injunction restraining the Speaker of Parliament, first defendant herein, from proceeding with the vetting and approval of the names of the nominees of the President submitted to Parliament until the requirement that a Minister of State shall be appointed by the President with prior approval of Parliament is satisfied in respect to the Ministers of State and Deputy Minister of State whose appointments were revoked on the 14th of February and have been reassigned new ministerial and deputy ministerial offices. Any further orders or directions as this Honourable Court may deem necessary.
In the spirit of that, Winston, I want to read the last but one paragraph in the President's legal advisor's advisory to the President, to the Presidency, where he says, in the circumstances, I am of the view that as sent into the bill, whilst the applications for interlocutory injunction filed in the two suits are pending, will render the said applications and undermine the authority of the Supreme Court to determine the issues raised in them. So this is where you probably would want to say that there are similarities. So if you argue that because you don't want to fall into a situation of contempt, you want to hold on for the court to deal with the matters before you proceed, then someone would say, well, the Speaker is justified.
Mama, help me out. Quick one.
When
does the contempt thing comes in? When an application is just filed or the court is hearing that case?
So by practice, by practice, this is what lawyers do. Because there is an application, and in this particular one, which is at the Supreme Court, a date has not even been set for hearing.
So
but lawyers would say that by practice, this is what they do.
Has that been the
it's
convention?
Like procedure. You want to wait for the court to determine before, because in some instances you may not be able to reverse it. It's like the harm has already been done and the court has made the decision. Do you understand now? So you want to hold on. Some lawyers may disagree because it hasn't been decided in this one. A date has not even been given. Are you putting pressure on the Supreme Court to deal with this matter because of the confusion between the two arms of government?
I know in law you also want to look at case laws and precedents as well. How it has been the precedents, even similar cases and all the rest before the Supreme Court, or when there has been an application filed at the Supreme Court?
Well, I think it's more of practice.
Okay.
It's more of practice than, decided decisions. People are just cautious. We've had instances where we have like a documentary that we're putting out, and because somebody has taken the step to go to court, not because the case has been dealt with, we've said that, okay, listen, based on Samson's advice, let's hold on, let the court deal with it before we go ahead and air the documentary. So you can say to some extent that the President's legal advisor is right in giving his advice. I want to say that it's maybe an overzealous and enthusiastic executive secretary who decides to add that Parliament cannot do its constitutional duty by transmitting a bill to the Presidency. I mean, how do you do that? What is the executive secretary's power in this anyway?
Did he act on behalf of the President? Or what does the lead?
Well, obviously.
Or when it comes to these communications, it has to be signed directly by the President because he has the authority under the Constitution to deal with Parliament as an institution.
I think you're taking us to another legal realm because some people have raised that issue. For instance, should appointments be directly signed by the President or his executive secretary? Because clearly the advice that the AG gave to the President did not include that. He did not say cease, desist from sending the bill to the Presidency. He did not say that. So why did the executive secretary decide to put that in his write-up?
So, you're right, and the Speaker actually makes a point. He alludes to the two schools of thought. One saying that once there's an application for injunction, you stop. And the other saying, well, the injunction has not been given. Until it is given, you can go ahead and do anything. But he actually makes reference to a case where Justice Datemba actually talks about, preventing the state from continuing with its function. I just would want to read that part that the Speaker talks about. It says, yes, the Supreme Court has always resisted attempts to unfairly and unnecessarily place a clog on the work of this House through the use of injunction applications. In Welford Kweku and the Attorney General, the Supreme Court, per Dr. Dateba JSC, noted that where the relief sought relate us here to a public law matter, particular care must be taken not to halt action presumptively for the public good unless there are very cogent reasons to do so, and provided also that any subsequent nullification of the impugned act or omission cannot restore the status quo. Giving the relief that the plaintiff is seeking in the substantive suit in this case, it is clear that if he succeeds in securing the declarations he has claimed, the impugned provisions of the Local Government Act 1993 Act 462 will be declared void and any actions made in pursuance of them nullified. Accordingly, no irreparable damage will have been caused the plaintiff during the period between the issue of the writ and the date of the judgment. And the Speaker continues by saying, the court's cautious approach in dealing with injunction applications against parliamentary processes further underscores the importance of not hastily impeding the legislative functions of Parliament. But this is the other point. If you look at Roxanne Dapia-Mekpo's suit, so you are actually challenging, you say, those who have been reassigned, as in ministers who have been reassigned, and deputy ministers who have been reassigned, should come back to Parliament for approval. However, you are injuncting the Speaker from approving persons who have come before the House, because their appointment must actually come before the House. Well, I am no lawyer. I've just asked this question.
Let's allow the lawyers to
yes, we allow the
play.
lawyers.
No, in this case, we allow the courts.
But the Speaker is also a lawyer.
To make a decision.
Right, I'm right
Yes,
on that one.
Yes,
So,
he
yeah,
is.
So,
but it's up to the judges.
There is the real politics.
they say the law is what the judge says, right? Am I right?
It's in the
on that
bosom
one?
of the judge.
Yeah. So let's leave it to the judges to
Let's
do
get to
their
Mavi, I think you
interpretation
have,
on this one.
Oh,
Daily
yeah.
Graphic before we go
The
to
Daily
online
Graphic
news.
is reporting ex gratia unfair, unjust scrap Article 71, according to participants in a stakeholders conference on the emoluments and privileges of Article 1 office holders. They've called for an end to the class system that the concept has created in the country. We are back to this issue. $45 million pharmaceutical product locked up at the ports. This issue is cropping up again. In the meantime, there are some drugs that we do not have in the country. For instance, malaria rapid diagnostic test kits, insecticides treated nets, antiretrovirals, and others. This all coming out from the society, the Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana. More in the paper today. Ghana tops all at WAEC Excellence Awards.
Let's go for the online news review brought to us by Zenith Bank in your best interest, Goyle Good Energy and G&J Technical Services, celebrating 30 years of providing backup power in Ghana.
And Goyle PLC, your CIMG Hall of Fame and 2022 Petroleum Company of the Year, has taken the lead again. Goyle has opened ultra-modern liquefied petroleum autogas service stations. The modern autogas service station is safe, clean, and offer affordable alternative fuel for your vehicle. So if you're driving on the Bema Camp Road, well, there's a Bema Camp Goyle service station where they have the autogas station, also Peshi Goyle station, Pedro Junction Goyle station, Impinton Goyle station in Takrade, Kenton Kronun Goyle station in Kumasi. Goyle delivering the safest and affordable gas at your convenience. Goyle Good Energy, Yen Ara.
And on myjoyonline.com, anti-LGBTQ plus bill, Parliament can pass a bill without presidential assent. That's according to Professor Kofi Ebuchi. Let's now go for the BBC News, brought to us by Fidelity Bank. Believe with us an Old Mutual 10 years of greatness in Ghana, here for a lifetime.
For decades, we have helped businesses connect with their trade partners all over the globe. From Ghana to Burkina Faso, Côte d'Ivoire, Benin, Togo, Senegal, China, Morocco, France, Netherlands, and many other countries. We have made it possible to bring Ghana to the world. We have brought small and medium businesses closer to their customers across the regions in Ghana with our SME support facilities. We have brought relief and smiles to the faces of families with our employee personal loans. With our cutting-edge technology and digital support, we take the burden of complex thinking off you, making life simple. That is who we are, as close as a partner. Bank of Africa. We are indeed the African bank with the global reach.
that people do to empower themselves. It fuels families, communities, businesses. Good energy fuels nations. It gets things going and keeps them moving. Good energy isn't just what we do, it's who we are. Goil, good energy.
And that's why I choose Goil. I'm a Zuma Nelson, 3 times world boxing champion, and a patriot.
What name brightens the streets, homes, and businesses of Ghana? What company has been providing world-class backup power to Ghanaians for 30 years?
G&J Technical Services.
Final answer?
Yes, G&J, final answer.
Correct.
G&J is celebrating 30 years of providing backup power in Ghana. As the largest supplier of world-class generators in the country, we have been the backbone of Ghana's alternative power industry by delivering the best sales, maintenance, and after-sales solutions the nation has ever seen. We've done it for 30 years, and we promise that the future will be even brighter. Reach us in Accra on 030-268-9178 or 9179 and 020-222-2204 all the way to 2220. And in Kumasi on 020-222-236 or 020-222-2220.
The ECOWAS Investment Forum EIF is a flagship event that aims to showcase West Africa's investment potential and present a pipeline of private and public sector development projects. Organized by the ECOWAS Bank for Investment and Development, EBID, in partnership with the Government of the Republic of Togo and the Government of India through Exim Bank India, EIF 2024 will take place on April 4th and 5th, 2024 at 2 Février Hotel in Lomé, Togo. This maiden edition will focus on the economic recovery of ECOWAS member states under the theme Transforming ECOWAS Communities in a Challenging Environment. For 2 days, development partners and stakeholders operating in the West African sub-region will engage in discussions relating to agriculture and food security, infrastructure deficit, youth unemployment, energy and climate change, and support to SMEs and SMIs. Join us on April 4th and 5th, 2024 in Lomé, Togo for the ECOWAS Investment Forum 2024. ECOWAS Bank for Investment and Development, EBID, Transforming ECOWAS Communities.
This election, ask your favorite politicians about their plans for tackling climate change and improving access to water, sanitation, and hygiene. Let this define who you vote for. At WaterAid, we believe in a future where our leaders prioritize climate change, water, sanitation, and hygiene. Your vote can make this possible.
Hello, you're with Newsday on the BBC World Service with Davina Gupta and Rob Young.
Coming up, the United States says it submitted a resolution to the United Nations calling for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. We'll speak to a senior United Nations worker near the southern Gaza city of Rafah.
Also, Ukrainians were woken up in the middle of the night to the sound of dozens of explosions caused by missiles and drones launched by Russia. We'll talk to our correspondent in the capital, Kyiv, to get the latest.
A rare and endangered pygmy hippo is born at an Athens zoo in Greece. We'll speak to the zoo's head keeper.
And in the business news, why Easter eggs will be more expensive this year. We'll get all your sports headlines too. That's coming up after a bulletin of the latest world news.
Hello, I'm Neil Nunes with the BBC News. The US Secretary of State Antony Blinken is traveling to Cairo to meet Arab leaders as the US pushes for a pause in the fighting in Gaza. Before leaving Saudi Arabia, Mr. Blinken said the US had submitted a draft resolution to the UN Security Council calling for an immediate ceasefire linked to the release of hostages. Yorios Petropoulos is a senior UN humanitarian affairs officer near Rafah in Gaza.
A ceasefire is basically the only thing that's going to save us here in Gaza from what's coming ahead of us. The hostages have to be released. People in Gaza have to have a stop to what's going on. Hunger is here and people are dying of it. They're dying of hunger in North Gaza and they're terrified for their lives for any operation in Rafah. And a ceasefire is now the only thing that we can really hope for.
Nearly 70 former senior U.S. military officials and diplomats have urged President Biden to take stronger measures against Israel if it denies civil rights to Palestinians during its military operation in Gaza. Their open letter also asks Mr. Biden to warn Israel of serious consequences if it expands settlement activity in the occupied West Bank. A team of UN investigators is looking into more than 50 cyber attacks over 7 years, which it blames on North Korea. It estimates that about $3 billion in cryptocurrencies were stolen to help fund the North's nuclear weapons program. From Seoul, here's Jean McKenzie.
North Korea is subject to some of the strictest sanctions in the world and is increasingly turning to cyber hacking to raise the money it needs to stay afloat and to build weapons. One UN member country estimates Pyongyang is now funding as much as 40% of its weapons development through these illicit hacks. UN investigators say the regime is still managing to make money by selling its coal and other resources abroad. It also earns hundreds of millions through its vast network of factory and construction workers stationed overseas. But none of these cash revenues appear to be as profitable to the regime as stealing cryptocurrency.
New research from India has found that working in extreme heat can double the risk of miscarriage for working pregnant women. Tulip Mazumdar has the details.
Researchers followed 800 pregnant women. Around half worked in jobs where they were exposed to extreme heat, such as agriculture and construction, and half worked in cooler conditions. They found those who were exposed faced double the risk of miscarriage, stillbirth, preterm birth, and of having a small baby. The authors say the findings are important to women globally, even those in cooler countries such as the UK, because it's the rise in temperatures from what the body is used to that can cause problems.
This is the world news from the BBC. At least 8 people are reported to have been injured in a Russian missile and drone attack on the Ukrainian capital Kyiv. Several explosions and air defense fire could be heard before dawn. The city's mayor said rocket fragments had fallen on residential buildings. Indonesia's former defense minister Prabowo Subianto has been confirmed as the new president. This follows an election in February which 2 losing candidates have officially challenged, saying the vote was not free or fair. Mr. Prabowo and his running mate, the eldest son of the outgoing leader Joko Widodo, had already declared victory. The British government has suffered fresh defeats over its contentious plan to deport some asylum seekers to Rwanda. Parliament's upper chamber has voted in favour of 7 proposed changes to the bill. The legislation is intended to stop court challenges to the government's effort to send asylum seekers to the East African nation. Here's Peter Saul.
There is still huge opposition to this plan to deport some asylum seekers to Rwanda in the House of Lords on issues including whether or not the bill complies with international and indeed UK law, whether or not victims of modern slavery, children should be exempted from the flights, and whether or not people who've served alongside British armed forces should be sent to Rwanda too. And I think there's a general feeling in the unelected second chamber here in Westminster that the government has not really done enough in terms of addressing some of the concerns that they have raised.
Police in the U.S. state of Idaho say they're searching for an escaped inmate and his accomplice after they staged a coordinated jailbreak. 3 officers were shot and wounded in an ambush, while Skylar Mead, a member of a white supremacist group, was being transferred from a medical center back to a correctional facility. That's the latest BBC World News.
There you are, about to enjoy the deep-fried, soft, spicy kelewele you bought from Aquile at Osu Night Market. Suddenly, you see your daughter's name on the paper used to wrap the kelewele, and that's when you realize it's the CV she submitted for a job last week. The job market is changing rapidly. AI, clouds, holograms, who knows what's next? Approximately 120,000 tertiary students graduate every year. What makes your child stand out? Get your child the X Factor to get ahead with tech courses from ALX. Choose AWS Cloud Computing, Salesforce Administration, Data Analytics, Data Science, Front-End Web Development, Back-End Web Development, or AI Career Essentials. Search ALX Ghana online to apply now. ALX, do hard things.
Hello, Accra! The biggest playground event is back again. Indomie Fest 2020
2024. This Easter, all roads lead to the Ifwa Sutherland Children's Park to witness the biggest fun fair in Accra. Are you ready to meet real-life superheroes? Be at Indomie Fest 2024 to meet the Indomitables. This Easter Monday, April 1st, 2024. A day to enjoy Indomie instant noodle recipes and a day for kids to play all day. There'll be bouncy castles, photo booths, piñatas, trampolines, and many more. Grab your ticket for 5 Ghana cedis only and enjoy performances from the Beam Nation President, Stone Boy, and many more. All at the Ifwa Sutherland Children's Park. For more information, contact 0549 012567. Indomie Fest, proudly brought to you by Indomie Instant Noodles.
Are you a corporate organization, e-commerce business, individual or student looking for a trusted courier company where you can track your package and receive SMS alerts to keep you posted? At IAS FedEx, we move your documents and parcels with care to the destination of your choice. With offices across the nation, we happily deliver your package to your office or the comfort of your home. With the assurance of safety and affordability giving you peace of mind, IAS FedEx has your package in good hands. Call us on +233 501 605,000 or +233 501 631,000. IAS, licensee of FedEx.
It's the most action-packed breakfast show in town. The hottest music, the best giveaways, the great interviews, and all the laughter and fun you can imagine. Don't miss the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. It's the best breakfast show in town.
Is Akatechi with Ohima on the Super Morning Show, bringing us to some 14 minutes after 7. This one sounds like one of your favorite, right?
Oh no, you see, this is after Odresi Simi, they had done Odresi Simi. So when they did the Ohima, Odresi Simi, the rap of Pharaoh was, we all know, was not the best. So this is an improvement of Mefero. And so I like the improved Mefero, you understand?
Yeah.
Yes, I.
We get you. All right, coming up on the show this morning.
The targets that they are set, these hardworking officers, sometimes are very unrealistic. And that leads to harassment of business because you have to get something out of them. And this is why you say prepay when you haven't earned 1 cent, 1 cedi, and you have to prepay. We are going to start with a clean slate in 2025. And that is why in 2025, we are going to grant a tax amnesty to all businesses and individuals and start afresh.
Mr. Vice President Winston, the head of the economic management team, saying that some of the targets set by the GRA to its workers are unrealistic. It ends up getting them to harass people. I mean, this is, when I heard it yesterday, I was, oh wow, this is serious.
Well, to be fair to him, he actually makes the point that within the current structure or system, okay, so our current system is such that we've not been able to expand the base. And so if we set these targets for them, they actually would go back to the same people and go and take money. Because we've not expanded the base to know those who must pay and those who must not pay. And because we've not expanded the base, what we are doing really is just to go back to the same people, asking them to pay more. So this is the language that we ordinary people use. Mm-hmm.
But isn't he supposed to be leading the solution?
You're very right, Mama V, and you would expect that he will be leading the solution. But how would he lead the solution? You've heard him making, points. He's talked about these solutions. The question you need to ask yourself is, would this be the solution? I just have in front of me, Mama V, I've just been checking. And, in 2018, 2017, thereabout. So this is a story dated 8th March 2018, and it says the government has stated that it's offering tax amnesty to all defaulting businesses and persons operating in the country for the last time. Kofinti, who is the Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority, who disclosed this to the media, called on all persons earning income who have defaulted in the submission of their returns and payments who had not previously registered with GIA to take advantage of the amnesty, come clean, and regularize their tax affairs. Let me give you the quote here. Let me emphasize, and please know that GRA has the capacity to identify all potential taxpayers. I wish to say that being outside the radar is not an option because GRA will vigorously pursue all tax defaulters, including prosecuting them after the expiration of the amnesty period. So if you are in default, it says come. They waive all the penalties, all the sanctions. You go on a clean slate. It says come clean. Then we go. Just about 2 or 3 years ago, a similar thing was done. How different will this be from what the Vice President is promising?
Well, more of that here on the Super Morning Show this morning. But let's get straight into the Banking Education Series, which is by the National Banking College. Today, we're talking about sharing of personal information with unknown sources. And this is from NBC Financial Literacy on digital transactions. Here we go. The general public is hereby cautioned not to click on suspicious links on their internet or online platforms in order to prevent or minimize risk of compromising personal information for fraudulent purposes. Also, do not share private or sensitive information with unknown sources. And that's today's Banking Education Series by the National Banking College. Log on to nbc.edu.gh to learn more. We have exciting news for you. You can now get your Omni Basic Visa Classic debit card instantly at any of our branches nationwide. It's instant with new and improved features, contactless and verified by Visa. So why wait? Visit any of our branches nationwide and get your Omni Basic Visa Classic debit card today. It's instant, secure and convenient. Omni Basic Bank at your service.
And Toyota users, get ready for a revolution. If you want your Toyota engine to function optimally, then there's only one choice, the Toyota Genuine Motor Oil. The Toyota Genuine Motor Oil has been rigorously tested and proving to be the best oil for your Toyota engine, especially crafted to keep your Toyota engine running smoothly and efficiently. The Toyota Genuine Motor Oil is available at all Toyota Ghana branches across the country. Nothing makes your engine happier than Toyota Genuine Motor Oil. For bulk purchase or distribution, contact Toyota Ghana on 0302 429801. Toyota, superior quality.
And G&J, your reliable alternative backup power solutions provider, is 30 years old. We wish to thank all our cherished partners and customers for being part of this journey. And as we embrace the future with brighter hopes, we look forward to providing you with the best backup power service to your homes, offices, churches, and more. We're still the largest backup power supplier in the country, and with our 24-hour service delivery, we're poised to give you the best brands in backup power and after sales services. Locate G&J in Accra is off the Mortuary Road to Kolebu. Call G&J on 0302 689 178 or 030 268 9179 and 020-2222-204. G&J is also in Kumasi. Call them in Kumasi on 020-2222-36 or 020-222-220.
Well, it's new and it has you in mind. Imperial General Assurance brings you the coalition insurance policy. Yes, now we have now we give you insurance beyond the road. The collision insurance from Imperial General Assurance gives you protection in the event of a collision with another car or an object. The policy offers repair of your damaged car parts resulting from the collision, hospitalization benefits if you're admitted beyond 3 days. Yes, you need not be involved in an accident to benefit, all third-party benefits. So get collision insurance from Imperial. Call us today on 0577 667 436 or talk to your broker or any of our agents across the country for further details. You can also follow us on our social media handles. Terms and conditions apply. Collision insurance, insurance beyond the road. Imperial General Assurance, solid protection.
And Pan-African Payment and Settlement System, PAPS, is now live at Fidelity Bank. Now, imagine sending money to your loved ones or business partners across Africa instantly and in Ghana cedis. Well, don't wait for days for transactions to clear. No more expensive fees, just fast, secure, and affordable payments. PAPS is here, and Fidelity Bank makes sending money through PAPS easy. Visit any Fidelity Bank branch and start sending money across Africa instantly, securely, and affordably to Nigeria, Gambia, Liberia, Guinea, and Sierra Leone. Fidelity Bank, believe with us.
And Kingdom Books and Stationery Limited, your number one supplier of quality office essentials, equipment, and furniture at affordable prices. It's introduced an online store for your shopping convenience, which means you can now shop by simply logging on to kingdomstoreonline.com without physically coming to any of their branches. It is hassle-free, and they will arrange delivery to your home and office within a reasonable time, offering free delivery within Accra and Tema, and they accept payment via Momo across all networks. Terms and conditions apply at Kingdom. Quality and affordability are their hallmarks.
Pursuant to Section 35 of the Companies Act 2019, Act 992, the Office of the Registrar of Companies, the ORC, is undertaking a nationwide inspection of companies and businesses. Company inspectors with their identification tags will visit business premises to inspect. One certificate of registered companies and businesses, also combined register with information on directors and members. They will also be looking out for compliance status, that's filing of annual returns and amendments, and finally updates of company and business records with current information. Please be informed that failure to comply with provisions of the Companies Act will incur a fine of not less than 150 penalty units or not more than 250 penalty units, or to a term of imprisonment of not less than 1 year or not more than 2 years, or both. We urge all company officials and business owners to collaborate with our company inspectors in this exercise. For inquiries, please call the ORC on 0302 666 081 or 020 883
5959. You can send an email to info@orc.gov.gh. ORC, your trusted partner for business.
And it's, difficult to keep good news to yourself, especially when it can transform your life and those close to you. SG Ghana went low on interest rates last year, and this year we are even lower. Yes, yatisubium. So listen to this. Last year, omoteso. Afiso, omoteso. So it is yatisubium.
Abafom cry.
Cry. Are you an SG Ghana customer on the Controller and Accountant General's payroll? Then get money. Get the money you need to turn your dreams into a reality. Visit any SG Ghana branch near you and speak to a dedicated staff about the amazing Yatisubium loans available today. You can also call 0302-214-314 for more details. Offer runs to the 7th of June 2024. Terms and conditions apply. SG Ghana, the future is you.
Now, a poorly maintained car engine can age faster. That's why Total Energies has specially formulated Quartz engine oil with age resistance technology. It's an innovation that ensures optimal performance for your engine, and it improves protection against mechanical wear by up to 74%, even under extreme temperatures and pressure. So, choosing Quartz from Total Energies is choosing the engine oil that keeps your engine running efficiently and effectively. Quartz, keep your engine younger for longer. 25 minutes after 7 on the Super Morning Show. We've got your birthday messages, Sports Center, all coming up on the Super Morning Show.
The House is unable to continue to consider the nominations of His Excellency the President, to use the language of the Attorney General and Minister for Justice, quote, in the spirit of upholding the rule of law, until after the determination of the application for interlocutory injunction by the Supreme Court.
Wake up, good morning, good morning.
Can you hear it? The freedom in our songs, the sound of liberty that rings from Kaswa to Karaga, from Tamale to Takoradi. It's in the pestles that pound from coast to coast. It's in the busy offices, the crowded streets, and the noisy schools. It's in the wisdom of our elders and in the laughter of our children. It's in seeing how far we've come and looking at how much we can grow. It's in knowing that still Ghana go be. Happy 67th Independence Day, Ghana. MTN.
Have you ever thought of the one that makes you complete? An escape from the clutches of interest charges. With the Standard Chartered Visa debit and credit cards, payments are completed at the speed of light, intertwined with interest earning accounts. You also get unbelievable rewards every time you swipe. You have access to over 1,200 airport lounges worldwide. High credit limits of up to 100,000 Ghana cedis and up to 50 days interest-free with our credit cards. You also get to enjoy full multi-trip travel insurance for 90 days. Fees discounted at your feet with our globally partnered merchant points. Bills are always settled, not battled. Get the Standard Chartered debit and credit card now. Call toll-free on 0800 740 100 or 0302 740 100 or reach us via email on feedback.ghana@sc.com. Standard Chartered, here for good.
Coffee in your cup and joy on the set. The Super Morning Show is always the best bet on Joy 99.7 FM.
All right, it's that time of the morning where we bring you the birthday messages on the Super Morning Show, brought to you by MTN. Everywhere you go. Bank of Africa, the African bank with global reach. Bank of Africa, strong as a group, as close as a partner. And I've got this one that says, kindly wish my lovely daughter Jessica Neza happy birthday. May God bless her. It's from mom, dad, brothers Aaron, Arnold, and Angelo. So Jessica Neza, enjoy your birthday today.
And it's the birthday of Wing Commander Louisa Boache of the Air Force Headquarters, Burma Camp. This one's from your husband. He says, may the good Lord bless and keep you safe on this day and all the days of your life. We love you from Gerald, that's your husband, Gerald, and children Edward Marie, Gerald Jr. and Eudia to you. So happy birthday to you. This one is from Mrs. P. Asante of the Cardio Center in Kolebu to her. And sons to Mr. Hayford Asante on the occasion of your birthday. God bless you and we love you. Happy birthday to Cecilia Shoko Ej of Carbank Graphic Road Branch. May the Lord be gracious to you and favor you from your family and friends who say they love you and enjoy your day. And finally, happy birthday to Moses New Equipment's head of management accounts department, State Pensions House. I wish you good health and strength. Have a blast today. And it's from Gifty Amatefield.
All right. It's also Mr. Richard Ni Amakwe's birthday. Mr. Richard Ni Amakwe is the founder and CEO of Quick Angels Limited, founder and board chairman of Quick Credits and Over Group Limited. Dear Chairman, enjoy your birthday today. Have the very best of it. It's from the management and staff of Quick Credit Limited and all of us here at the Multimedia Group to you, sir, as you celebrate your birthday today. I think there's one last one that I missed yesterday, so belated happy birthday to Mrs. Jacqueline Benyin, MD Enterprise, live from management and the entire staff and from all of us to you. I hope that yesterday was good. Mrs. Jacqueline Benyin, MD Enterprise, live. Belated happy birthday to you. Let's jump straight into the Sports Center. And it's brought to us by MTN. Everywhere you go. Standard Chartered Bank. Here for good. DSTV, it's your moment. Ventios Twisco Energy for Drink. Twisco, power your dream. And Bets Power.
And so, folks, imagining a world where your home or business is powered by the sun's boundless energy. I mean, picture your rooftop transforming into a solar sanctuary radiating with eco-friendly vibes and CD-saving brilliance. Well, dream no more with Standard Chartered's renewable energy loans. You can turn this dream into a dazzling reality. And guess what? Our renewable energy loans come at a very low rate. That's right, we're not just offering loans, we're offering the keys to your solar-powered kingdom. Say goodbye to high electricity bills and step into a new world where every watt generated is a step towards a brighter, more sustainable future. So if you're ready to take control of your energy destiny and switch to solar today, give us a shout on any of the following phone lines: 0501535789 or 0501535790 or 0244674154. Let's chart a course for a brighter tomorrow and make your solar dream shine brighter than ever before. Standard Chartered, here for good.
And if you're a tech titan and business champion, here's one for you. Thinking about the next step in business evolution, wondering how this next step affects your actual business advantage, you're in luck because MTN is hosting the second edition of the exclusive MTN Business CTIO Roundtable. This invite-only event is your chance to mingle with industry rock stars, real data gurus, and AI wizards who will be sharing their battle-tested strategies to unlock the power of data and AI for your business growth. The MTN CTIO Roundtable 2024 is scheduled for Wednesday, March 27th at 9 a.m. sharp. March 27th at 9 a.m. at the stunning Labadi Beach Hotel. Spots are limited, so for inquiries, just contact 0543 669 175 or 0543 872 212. Let's turn data into your ultimate business weapon. We will see you there.
Sure. Thank you.
Hi.
We couldn't win gold.
Good morning. Welcome to the Joy Sports Center with me, Fentio Tahiru Fentio. Coming up.
Thank you. We didn't win gold.
A final of the men's 4x100-meter relay. And off they go, there's no turning back now. The final of the men's 4x100-meter relay. The Nigerians are going very strongly. Edwin Gada is already being caught. But on their back straight for Ghana is Benjamin Azamati. But Nigerians, Ocon is also running really well. Look at Botswana, 2. Very well run. Solomon Hammond is being handed over by Benjamin Azamati. Hammond is going up against Alaba Olukule of Nigeria. This is it now. The Alcolite is Shorishi. Oh, the Ghanaians have. It looked like they were dropping the baton, but they did it. It's Shorishi against Joseph Polamo. It's a race for 1 and 2. Ghana, Nigeria have got it. Yes, on the line.
just on the line. That's how close the men's 4x100 meter relay race was. What's the disappointment?
No, we didn't win gold.
Yes, because we won silver.
No, but why? We should have won gold. We are the defending champions.
Which is also a medal.
Oh, no.
You know how many defending champions didn't win anything.
The fact that Nigeria beat us is, for me, is the problem.
But you beat them in the last two.
We should have beaten them again.
Well, Ghana's relay team, they relinquished their title to arch rivals Nigeria by 0.02 seconds last night at the University of Ghana Sports Stadium. In day 3 of the track and field events, a delayed changeover of the baton at the anchor leg means Ghana settled for silver with a time of 38.43 seconds as Nigeria exacted revenge for their defeat at the last games in 2019. Here's Solomon Hammond explaining what happened in that changeover between him and Joseph Paul Amoah.
The race was good, but I was expecting gold.
Are you disappointed?
A little bit. Because like this is for us. We could have won it. Just a little mistake at the third and the finisher. That's me and Joe. We did it was a delay. We delayed a little bit and then I just. So it's like it was about a taking off. He was ahead of me, so it delayed. You have to slow to get a baton.
That's Solomon Hammond taking responsibility. Benjamin Azamati also admitted he's disappointed with the outcome, but says they are looking forward to qualifying for the 2024 Olympic Games.
Yeah, quite a little bit disappointing. We're looking forward to defending our title. We were not able to, make that happen. But of course, there are still competitions ahead. We're hoping to run faster. We are hoping to make it to the Olympic Games. There's a world relays coming up, but before that we still have the pen relays, which we'll compete in to get a faster time to help us get into the Olympic Games. So, we're hoping to, defend our title and make the whole nation proud, but it didn't happen. But we still keep our head up and then concentrate on the other games that are coming up.
Meanwhile, Joseph Paul Amoah, who anchored Ghana to that silver medal, he says he's shifted his focus to the 200-meter heats, which is coming up later this morning.
It's always a good race when we run against Nigerians, and I know it was a much anticipated race because in 2019 we ran against them and we already know how it went. So coming into this one, we would have loved to get the win on the home track, and they also wanted to spot the party on our home track. So I guess one of us got what we wanted and they did. So yeah, I guess we got silver. They got gold. So yeah, I know. I heard them mentioning the jollof thing when I was on the track. I'm a little bit disappointed, but I have a race tomorrow. I just have to mentally stay right and then come back tomorrow and race again.
Joseph Paul Amoah, the man he beat in 2019 on that ankle leg was Ishorise Ishikiri. Ishikiri ran the ankle leg again against Joseph Paul Amoah again, and this time Ishikiri got his sweet revenge. And he says the victory is not just revenge for the 2019 defeat, but also revenge for the 2003 defeat that Ghana handed to Nigeria when the African Games were held in Abuja.
Yes, it feels like revenge. It feels like revenge for 2003. It feels like revenge for 2019. It feels like revenge for every single time Ghana has beaten Nigeria. That's why we took this one for the team. We were going to break that jinx today, and we did.
That's Ishikiri. The women, Nigeria had delight there as well in the 4x100 meters. They got gold. Ghana finished third. Liberia, they finished second in the women. Liberia also finished third in the men as well. So just the same 3 countries in both the men and women. Toby Amusan, who anchored Nigeria home in that race, also claimed a dramatic gold medal in the women's 100-meter hurdles, getting yellow carded for a false start. Elsewhere in the men's 800-meter final, Ghana's national record holder Alex Amankwa failed to medal after placing fifth, with Kenya's Aaron Chemenengwa winning the race. Amankwa says he's overwhelmed by the support he received despite not finishing on the podium.
I'm disappointed, honestly. I feel like I could have finished top 3, but I didn't have it the last stretch. So yeah, it's disappointing, but I'm happy that I made the final. This is an inch closer to the Olympics, which is the ultimate goal. And the support that I'm getting from Ghana is incredible. Everything, I'm disappointed in myself because I felt like I could have done more, but everybody's coming up to me and congratulating me and showing me so much love and so much support. Like, it's I can't even describe the words. It's amazing.
That's Ghana's 800-meter record holder, Alex Amankwa. And as the games draw to a close, the rivalry between Nigeria and Ghana is getting amplified. Off the track now onto the indoor volleyball court. There was redemption for Team Ghana when they beat Nigeria by 3-1 at the Botiman Sports Complex to advance to the semi-final. Ghana's captain Daniel Benafo was overjoyed after getting one over Nigeria.
Today is the most happiest day in my life to beat Nigeria. Nigeria is one of the difficult teams Ghana is finding difficult to beat. So today that we're beating them, and the most happiest man on earth today.
And that's not the only place where Ghana got joy. The women's hockey team, they will be facing Nigeria in the final on Friday, looking for another joy. Ghana's head coach is Osei Boakye-Adom. He's confident his team will do the double over Nigeria, having already beaten them 1-0 in the group stages.
We know it's going to be a very difficult match. Normally, beating a team, 2 times in the same tournament, it's not easy. But we have antidotes to their style of play. I think the other time we didn't get it right, and now we've corrected our mistakes. And I believe if we stick to our game, that's the passing game, they find it very difficult to adjusting to that type of game. So I think we'll go that way, and then we are sure of taking the victory.
So that's Ghana's women's hockey team coach Osei Boakye-Adom. They are in the final against Nigeria on Friday. The men's hockey team are also in the final. They play on Friday as well, but against Egypt. They were in the same group as the Egyptians, and they lost to them 1-0 in their last pool game yesterday. The two teams faced off in the final, and Ghana will be hoping to get victory this time around. Let's go to boxing now, where 2 members of the Black Bombers team have booked their spots in the final. Mohamed Aite secured his semis bet with a unanimous decision win over Morocco's Esadi Hamza in the men's 48 kg category. In the men's 60 kg category, Joseph Kome also qualified for the final with a unanimous victory over Algeria's Osama Mojani. Aite, in fact, secured his final bet as well. So the two of them are in the final, Mohamed Aite and Joseph Kome, which means they are now guaranteed either gold medal or silver medal. Remember, the Black Bombers have already guaranteed themselves 7 medals, having had 7 boxers make it all the way to the semi-finals. Meanwhile, in the women's category, Janet Aqua lost to Algeria's Fatih Manzouri in the women's 48 kg semi-final, and she will settle for a bronze medal. Later today, 4 more Ghanaian boxers will be competing for places in the final, including Olympic bronze medalist Samuel Techi. Meanwhile, Ghana's hopes of a medal in tennis were shattered on Tuesday when the only surviving participants, the men's doubles team, crashed out of the competition. Ibrahim Asaba and Isaac Norte, after an impressive run in the men's doubles competition, succumbed to a straight sets loss to Egypt's Mohamed Safwat and Faris Mohammed in the quarterfinals. And we'll wrap up with football. And at 8 p.m. tonight, Ghana's Black Princesses take on Nigeria. I told you the rivalry is intensifying as the games draw to a close. That match will be at the Cape Coast Sports Stadium. It's the gold medal game. The Black Princesses beat Nigeria back in June 2023 to win the Wafu Girls Cup in Kumasi. Their head coach is Yusuf Baziki. He says his ladies will be looking to continue their dominance over their Nigerian counterparts.
When it comes to Ghana, Nigeria, off the pitch, we are the best friends, we are the best brothers and sisters. And when it comes to the game proper, it's a different ball game altogether. Yes, we watch them play, they also watch us play, and Nigeria will not like to lose to us for the second time running, and we will also want to consolidate our dominance. So it's going to be a cracker. I know it's going to be a very tough game. So I think that at the end of the day, we shall see what happens.
All right, that's 8 p.m. today, Ghana versus Nigeria in the women's football final. Before we go, Mohamed Kudus will not be playing a part in Ghana's friendlies against Nigeria and Uganda after withdrawing with a shoulder injury. He's not the only one. Mohamed Salisu will also not be taking part in that particular game. That's all the sports this morning. There's more on our website, myjoyonline.com/sports. Mama V, Are you also facing Nigeria in anything?
I like this. These are black princesses.
Yes.
In it.
Yes.
Yeah, we're
you know your team.
Yeah.
And the people of Cape Coast have filled the stadium every single time the princesses have played. It's been amazing.
Aww.
You know how everybody is paying attention to only the athletics?
Mm-hmm.
The Bukom Boxing Arena has been filled to the rafters every single night.
Nice one.
The princesses games have been filled to the rafters in every single game. The Accra Sports Stadium is the same thing. So credit to the LOC and the Ministry of Youth and Sport. They've redeemed themselves.
They go for free still?
It is still free, exactly.
Right. Okay.
Every single game is free.
Okay, we'll come back and talk about how we intend making the money back. But social media messages on the Super Morning Show. Brought to us by EcoBank, a better way, a better African. Provident Insurance with Provident. Man, you are covered. Unclable White will join us right after this.
Across Africa, a new era has begun. Shifting our focus to a new horizon, connecting us with one purpose: to create and share opportunities to grow. Today, we are making a brighter tomorrow, built by our dreams and our energy. Across our continent, across the world, we are creating a better way to a better future. A Pan-African future. Together. EcoBank. A better way, a better Africa.
Hello? Fair driver, are you sending the sales?
Boss, medicana kopim.
Hey, what the car to me so?
Boss, you no renew the insurance.
Tell it, I didn't have time. I had to go to the farm.
You can insure on the farm.
And I had to go to the market too.
You could have insured in the market.
I had to cook supper for my wife.
Boss, you could have insured in the market.
But how?
By texting or buyer on 0242 426 396 to help insure with Provident Insurance on WhatsApp from anywhere. Annie, bebia. With Obaya, now you can insure your car anywhere, anytime. On WhatsApp, text Obaya on 0242 426 396 today. With Provident.
Man, you are covered.
All right, it's 46 minutes after 7. Unclable White joins us with Food for Thoughts. It's the Ghana Man series, and he's been doing some reflections. Uncle, a very good morning to you.
Gorgeous, a very good morning to you too, and how are you doing?
Oh, I am very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing quite well. Tell Fento that I've been enjoying his commentaries.
Okay, I'll pass it on.
Okay. Gorgeous, this is another installment of my Ghana Men series.
Right.
In 1983, I drove a car from Accra to South Central in Kumasi for the very first time. It was an official vehicle assigned to me by my employer. I parked the car at the gate to the house and went in to see my mother, who was alive then. She welcomed me warmly, as usual. And then after the usual amanier and courtesies, she excused herself to attend to someone who had come looking for her in the compound. When she returned, my mother said, "Kobina, there is a car at the gate." I asked, and they said, "You brought it. Whose car is it?" I said, "Mama, it is my office car." She said, "Oh, good. Tomorrow, take me to the owner of the business for me to thank him for giving you a car." I said, "Mama, that is not how it is done. You don't have to go and see anyone to thank him." She said, "What do you mean by that is not how it is done? Someone has given my son a car, and it is important that I, as his mother, go to thank the person for being kind to my son. That is how it is done." Well, maybe I managed to get her to drop the idea of coming to Accra to thank my boss. But I discovered that her insistence on coming to thank him was a way of ascertaining the fact that I had a legitimate right to the car. She wanted to assure herself that I had not stolen money or used any corrupt means to buy the car. Her action sent a very strong message to me that this is a mother who would not want her son to use shady means for anything. This is a mother who wants her son to act above board in everything. Well, fast forward 7 years later, I had changed jobs, and my new employer sponsored me for training in the US and Canada for 6 weeks. I got to tour a number of states in the US and provinces in Canada. I got to visit multinational publishing houses and major bookshops in North America. I was amazed at the benefits of the training for me and how much value it added to my capacity. On my trips, I met a lot of Ghanaians who encouraged me to go against the terms of my stay in North America and stay on. They said, look, it is difficult to get a visa to come to North America. And so if you have money to get in, don't go back. After all, what would you be going back for? I told them that I would be betraying a trust if I did not go back. The company that sponsored me was expecting me to return and help take the business to the next level for my exposure. I told these well-meaning American-based Ghanaians that if I did not return, the company will not allow anyone to have the same opportunity. And I did not want to be the ones who block the opportunity for others who will be coming after me. When the time was up, I returned to Ghana bubbling with great ideas from the exposure I had received. The training had been worth every minute of it. A few days after I had arrived in Ghana, I went to Kumasi to see my mother. Part of the reason I had been keen to honor the terms of my trip was because I did not want to let my mother down. Remember that this was a woman who did not want her son to be guilty of doing the wrong thing. Well, Mama V, I was wrong. My mother welcomed me when I got to South Central. Then she asked me for the usual amania. Then she left the room. This time she was gone for a very long time. Whilst waiting for her, my kid brother came in and asked him, what is keeping mother so long? My brother said, Bra, mother is heartbroken that you came back. She is distressed that you did not stay on, so you could be sending the family remittances from the US. I was shocked. The woman who wanted to be sure that I had not used corrupt means to buy a car wanted me to betray the trust of my employer. So, which of these two women was my real mother? Now, we have a very interesting relationship with values and principles in Ghana. We will say that we hate wrongdoing. We will say that we are against corruption and dishonesty. Yet, if doing the wrong thing and being dishonest will give us personal advantage, we have no qualms resorting to them. It seems like in Ghana, what is wrong until we can benefit from it. Then it is no longer wrong. This is the reason politicians in opposition are very passionate about the corruption of the party in power. And yet, when they come to power, they do worse than the party they took over from. Listen to call-ins for every radio program in Ghana, and you will hear people speaking out against wrongdoing and corruption. But let these same people find themselves in the position to benefit from wrongdoing and corruption, and then it is all right for them to indulge in them. Parents will teach their daughters, for instance, to be chaste until they have been properly married, until the girl's path crosses that of a rich married man who is driving the latest Benz and who is interested in her. And then it is suddenly okay for the girl to let go. Until we decide that wrongdoing is wrong, whether we benefit from it or not, Ghana will continue to struggle. And gorgeous, that is my presentation for this one.
Uncle, thank you very much for food for thought. Something for us to, as always, think about today as we go about our day.
Yeah.
Well.
And have a fantastic day. Oh, the date is getting closer and closer for...
Next week, Friday.
Dubai or no sex.
Yes, sir.
That will be next week.
Yes, it's just next week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
The tickets, if you're struggling getting it online, the physical tickets are available. So let's see you for this show. It will be worth every minute of your time.
Well, Uncle, thank you very much for food for thoughts. I will tell our listeners more about Dubai or No Sex, most importantly, where they can get tickets. Please have a good day today.
You too. Have a fantastic day.
All right. Uncle Abel White with food for thought. Brought to us by Roverman Productions. Be the difference. Today is Thursday, which means Uncle will be back next Monday. But there is an Easter play. And it's Dubai or No Sex. Dubai or No Sex delves into themes of honesty, integrity, impact of social media, and a man's unwavering resolve to stay true to himself in the midst of external pressures. So the show will be on the 29th, which is next week Friday, also Saturday 30th, and then Sunday 31st of March. And there will be a repeat on the 1st, 5th, 6th, and 7th of April 2024. Show times on Friday, one show only, which is at 7 p.m. on Saturday. 2 shows, 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. And then on Sundays, where we have the 3 shows at 1 p.m., 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. and 2 shows on Easter Monday, 1st of April at 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. What you need to do now is just get on your calendar and decide which of the days you want to show up. But by all means, please do show up at the National Theatre. Rate is 200 Ghana cedis per. Buy tickets via the Cover Short code *365 *535 hash *365 *535 hash on all and at all regular outlets. The physical tickets are also available. You can grab ticket here at Joy FM. Be informed that a purchased ticket may earn you a free round trip to Dubai. For inquiries, call 059 692 1960. Send WhatsApp to 050-554-6030. You can also follow the play and all associated posts on social media platforms at Roverman Productions. Proudly sponsored by Gino Tomato Mix and GCB Bank Limited. Media partner M Notify and Logistic Movers. Buy your ticket now. Roverman Productions, be the difference. Thanks to EcoBank, a better way, a better African Provident Insurance. With Provident Man, you're covered. You can send us WhatsApp messages to 055-1111-997. Also check us out. In fact, let's hear from you. Post on X, Joy997, and kindly use the hashtag JoySMS. We're also on Facebook, so get in touch. Every day, many people face different emergencies. It could be police, emergency, fire, medical. But if you happen to find yourself in a money emergency, do you know how you can get help? Well, it's *770 hash. *770 hash is the EcoBank Money Emergency number. *770 hash gives you instant access to loans, fund transfers, utility payments, airtime. You can buy data. Even when you do not have data on that phone, you still can access *770 hash. So there's no need to panic when you find yourself in any money emergency, because EcoBank will always come to your rescue. Dial *770 hash now for solutions to your money emergencies. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank. And you can now get your vehicle insured anywhere, anytime with Provident Insurance's Obaya. Obaya is on WhatsApp, so, she works round the clock. You don't have to worry about closing times. You can buy, renew, and file claims for your vehicle, Bebia. Here's Obaya's number. Chat with Obaya, 0242 426 396 0242 426 396, and Obaya will help you. It's quick, convenient, reliable, and saves you time, so you can do more in your day. Chat Obaya and get your vehicle insured now on Provident Insurance. So text your Obaya, Bebia. And remember, with Provident, man, you are covered. We've got the Joy Business Minute coming up in about 2 minutes. Is brought to us by Consolidated Bank Ghana, CBG. We stand with you. Anointed Electricals, the generator expert, and Waikari Capital together towards tomorrow. So Anointed Engineering Services Limited is into sales of ultra silent generators from 5 kVA to 2,500 kVA. They also undertake maintenance and repairs of all kinds of diesel generators. You can get genuine spare parts from Anointed. They have branches nationwide. Latest branches, though, in Amrahia. Frims Oil on the main Adenta Dodowa Road, East Legon, Lagos Avenue Road, opposite Tomrick Hotel in Tema General Hospital Road, Community 9, just after the overhead, and in Kaswa, off the Weja Kaswa Road, near Simaf Cement Depot. And Odoko, that's their head office at number 77 Anointed House of the Odoko Malam Road in Accra. Here's their hotline. Call them anytime, 0243 480-334. You know, your business should not suffer because of financial challenges, right? Well, are you an individual trading in your personal name, a sole proprietor, or a company? Expand your business with CBG's collateral-free lending product. Open an account with CBG today and have access to as much as 500,000 Ghana cedis to meet your urgent business needs. Their Solo Smart Loan, SME Smart Loans, and Advanced Loans are the perfect solution for you. No need to provide any form of collateral. For further inquiries, visit any of their 114 branches nationwide or kindly call them via this phone number 0302 216,000 or via social media. They've got handles on Facebook, Instagram, and X. Or you can also send an email to talk to us at cbg.com.gh. Terms and conditions apply. CBG, we stand with you. And it brings us to exactly 8 a.m. So here's the Joy Business Minutes.
Hello, welcome to the Joy Business Minute, brought to you by Consolidated Bank Ghana. We stand with you, Anointed Electricals, the generator experts, and Waikari Capital together towards tomorrow. Government is now expecting to finalize debt restructuring deal with private external creditors than earlier projected. The size of Ghana's economy stood at 841.60 billion cedis in 2023. This is compared to 614.33 billion cedis recorded in 2022. Economist Professor Peter Korte is predicting a higher growth rate for the first 3 quarters of this year, but not without job creation in the agri and industry sectors. And Reddit has priced its shares at the top of a marketed range, valuing the social media platform at $6.4 billion. And that's the Joy Business Minute, brought to you by Consolidated Bank Ghana. We stand with you, Anointed Electricals, the generator experts, and Waikari Capital together towards tomorrow.
Morning Show.
Keep the frequency clear.
99.7.
Wake up. Good morning. Good morning.
The targets that they are set, these hardworking officers, sometimes are very unrealistic. And that leads to harassment of business because you have to get something out of them. And this is why you say prepay when you haven't earned 1 cent, 1 cedi, and you have to prepay. We are going to start with a clean slate in 2025. And that is why in 2025, we are going to grant a tax amnesty to all businesses and individuals and start afresh.
Coffee in your cup and Joy on the set. The Super Morning Show is always the best bet on Joy 99.7 FM.
The House is unable to continue to consider the nominations of His Excellency the President, to use the language of the Attorney General and Minister for Justice, quote, in the spirit of upholding the rule of law, until after the determination of the application for interlocutory injunction by the Supreme Court.
That's number 3, Speaker of Parliament Alban Gbagbin taking a cue, he says, from the President's advisor. Well, who can also advise Parliament, by the way? So, issues bothering our country today. What's happening in Parliament, by the way? What does it mean, taking entrenched positions? These are independent arms of the state. Oh, and Dr. Bamia, the flag bearer of the NPP, is also talking about tax amnesty. So if you've defaulted today, if you are in the process of defaulting, Winston, and I'm a good citizen, is it continue to default? When we come, we will start on a clean slate? And I'm an innocent person. I'm just asking questions.
Why would you default? I mean, nobody is saying that you should continue to default and that when you continue to default, you start on a clean slate. I'm sure the companies know what to do. They have to pay their taxes, and so they will pay their taxes. But he's talked about the fact that, he's raised a lot of issues, actually. If you listen to the whole, he's raised issues about today. I mean, for instance, I am expected to pay my a quarter of my income tax before the end of this quarter. So I'd have to go to the Ghana Revenue Authority. I would have to make payment of that. Now, even though I may not have done any business this year, I am still entitled to pay. You get that point. So there are conversations about, do we need to change that? I mean, but there's also the other point that, look, the state must run, Mama V. And so you don't have to wait till you get all your money and say, I'm not coming to pay my income tax. There are, for those of us who work within the formal sector, we pay our income taxes. But for the corporate entities, you pay quarterly too, and that's the reality. He's talked about the need to have a flat rate. What would constitute that flat rate? And the flat rate was part of the things he said when he addressed on his vision going forward. That's something that we've tried in the past, with a flat VAT rate and everything. When we get deeply into the conversation, we'll tell you more about all those things and whether the impacts were really visible or felt. And so you want to know, if we did something in the past that did not work, would we want to do it again? How did it work in the past? There's no denying the fact that our VAT system is complex. It is very complex. And this is why it's complex. It's actually complex because we want to pretend, for instance, that, so we say, that our VAT is 15%, we say our VAT is 15%, right? But this is how you go about it, Mama V. You actually would first of all have to pay the levies. That's the GET Fund and NHIL.
Right.
Having added that to it, you now would calculate VAT on all. In the past, it was just straightforward. You just calculate it. We changed that. And now you would have to pay. So if you buy something, say 100 Ghana cedis, instead of in the past, settling for, say, a 20% VAT, which would then take it to 120. If we're doing the current system, okay, where we would have to charge you 5% first. So if we, for instance, if we're to go into the calculation and say, okay, so 105, and then we check 17%, 15% of that 105, okay, it gives you 15.75. So instead of paying, say, 120, if we're just doing it as we used to have it, now you're going to be paying 120.75. You get the point? So we found a nice way to take more from people by this whole thing about, okay, so we are decoupling the levies and everything from it, then you calculate the levies before you do that. Our system is very complex, and so we know the tax people will tell you it's very complex. What do we do about it? But also, what this doesn't tell us. Now, Dr. Bamia himself, in his speech, admitted that there is a collection gap, a revenue gap of $24 billion. $24 billion. If you were to do the calculation today, for instance, now that $24 billion, this is it. So 24 billion, okay, 24 times 13, that would take you to 312 billion Ghana cedis.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the gap. Why is that the gap? If you read Ghana's medium-term revenue strategy framework, it indicates that 81% of income tax is not collected. 81% of income tax is not collected. But that's not all. 61% of VAT is also not collected. Even VAT, we don't collect it. So that's the gap that we have. It'll be important to know whether these flat rates would actually lead to bridging that gap or closing that gap. And that's a conversation that would have this morning.
So again, not to be very hard on the NPP's flag bearer, but the party is still in government today. I know the question that people keep asking when he makes future promises is, why can't we do that now? Why can't we start from a clean slate now? Why do we have to wait until you become president?
Mama V, in fact, yes, before I answer that, I actually forgot that there's the COVID levy of 1% that you add to it before you even do that. So if you add the COVID 1% to it, it becomes 6% before you actually would go into calculating VAT. You're right. You're right by asking the question, why is that not being done? Well, he's provided his own explanation of it. The president has also told you that it's only an unwise president who would say that he wouldn't take advice from anywhere and that he has it all. So I'm sure you can form your own opinion on that. The vice president has told you it's an advisory position. Has he advised? Has the advice not been taken? Why was the advice not taken? That's a conversation we can have another day, and we can go into whether or not he's justified in trying to move away from his party and everything. But the reality today is this is what he intends to do. And as for us, we'll look at the evidence from the past, and then we'll look at the feasibility of it and ask questions, whether we've learned anything from the past. And then we'll also look at how feasible it is even going into the future.
Right.
Because it's always important to consider the options that are provided by people, irrespective of where they find themselves.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about the tensions between the executive and the legislature. We thought that, they were in a good place, especially with Speaker Bagwin's interpretation of who selects leadership in Parliament. We thought that even though it's 137, now 136, 137, we thought that they were in a good place at least. But it looks like not, especially with how things panned out yesterday and with the Speaker's address to Parliament. We will be talking about that issue as well. And our friends from Ernest Chemist, they will be on the show today. There's a product that they launched recently, Winston, which I think men will be happy about because it has to do with your prostate enlargement, and these are natural products to deal with it. So hopefully we can also deal with this issue here on the show.
Yeah, it's a very important issue.
Because I hear that when it happens, the urinary stream may be weak. It may even stop. And sometimes when you're urinating, when you're like a young person, you're able to direct the urine. When you find yourself in that position, you're not able to play with it like you used to.
No.
Child.
I have a friend whose father got prostate cancer. He had enlargement first. He was advised. He didn't mind till he got prostate cancer. He never wanted his children to know. So whenever he's sick, he probably would let them go to another hospital where they don't have his records because he knew what he had. And when they eventually found out, it was too late. And he died.
Wow.
Yeah, he didn't want to have the surgery. And I also know people who've had prostate issues. They've been booked for surgery and they change their mind all of a sudden and they die eventually. But it's good we all have to check.
Yeah.
All of us, including myself.
And when it has to do with the enlargement bit, there's a product that can take care of it. And I hear that it also boosts something because sometimes you can go low. So,
Mama V, it boosts what?
I don't know. You are the man. You should tell me. But that's all coming up here on the Super
That's too much work, my dear.
Thanks to Telecel, connecting energies latest from your partner for life. Emirates fly better. We're able to have these conversations on the show.
And dreaming of the perfect sofa to upgrade this year, your dream sofa is now a reality at Latest Foam. Introducing our sensational V sofa range where comfort meets style at prices that will make your heart skip a beat. Hop into any Latest Foam showroom nationwide to dive into the world of colors and choices. From the sleek L-shaped sofa at just 3,100 to the complete V sofa set for an unbeatable 6,500, you have the opportunity to elevate your living experience with Latest Foam, your forever partner in comfort and luxury. Hurry, your perfect sofa waits. Latest Foam, your partner for life. Why are you smiling, Mama?
Choices.
Yeah. Should I teach you the coalescent assimilation?
Which one is that? I beg, take it easy. Yeah?
We call it coalescent assimilation.
Okay. Yeah.
So you say, could you?
Could you?
Yeah, so could and you in a sentence becomes could you.
Could you?
And so elevate. So when you hear it and the next sound is yeah, it becomes ch. So elevate. So elevate your goodness. Elevate your goodness. It's like gotcha. Got you.
Mama
Va.
Hey.
Oh, English is fun.
It is. All right, it's 13 minutes after 8 on the Super Morning Show. Now, if you're about to have the world at your fingertips because the wait is finally over, Telecel is here. Now you have everything you want and need. Quick and reliable communication, stress-free money transactions via Telecel Cash, transforming your big business ideas into success stories with Telecel Business and more. Connect with Telecel and enjoy a world of endless possibilities, because with Telecel, there's no limit to connections. Telecel, connecting energies.
The House is unable to continue to consider the nominations of His Excellency the President to use the language of the Attorney General and Minister for Justice, quote, in the spirit of upholding the rule of law, until after the determination of the application for interlocutory injunction by the Supreme Court.
Keep this frequency clear.
99.7.
Ladies and gentlemen, Telecel is here! Telecel, connecting energies.
The countdown is on. Get ready for another awesome encounter at Harvest Praise 2024, the Anapao edition. Join friends and family to praise and worship with anointed ministers Alvin Slaughter, Phil Thompson, Harvest Gospel Choir, and the Harvest Theatre. Harvest Praise is on Good Friday, 29th March 2024 at the First Love Center near Trinity Seminary, Legon. Time 4 p.m. sharp. Dial star 725 star 1155 hash on all networks and buy your tickets now. Single 80 Ghana cedis, double 140 Ghana cedis, and VIP 150 Ghana cedis. Tickets are also available at Bachelor Total, Sunny FM, and all Harvest Chapel branches in Accra. Come find rest as you praise your burdens away. Harvest Praise, get your praise on.
Hello, Accra! The biggest playground event is back again. Indomie Fest 2024. This Easter, all roads lead to the Ifwa Sutherland Children's Park to witness the biggest fun fair in Accra. Are you ready to meet real-life superheroes? Be at Indomie Fest 2024 to meet the Indomitables. This Easter Monday, April 1st, 2024. A day to enjoy Indomie instant noodle recipes and a day for kids to play all day. There'll be bouncy castles, photo booths, piñatas, trampolines, and many more. Grab your ticket for 5 Ghana cedis only and enjoy performances from the Beam Nation President, Stone Boy, and many more. All at the Ifwa Sutherland Children's Park. For more information, contact 0549 012567. Indomie Fest, proudly brought to you by Indomie Instant Noodles.
Roverman Productions, in partnership with National Theatre and Joy FM, presents an original Igbo White play, Dubai on No Sex.
Barney, darling, do you know where Simon and Diva went for their annual vacation?
To Dubai.
Oh, so you know. And the year before that, they were in the Caribbean. Where have you been on vacation with me, your wife?
Ajwa, you and I have been at Kwewu for Easter.
Kwewu.
Winneba for Abuache. Elmina for Bakatu.
Elmina.
And we have been at Keta for...
Keta. Barnabas.
We are also regular at Homo.
Shows on March 29th, 30th, 31st, and April 1st, 6th and 7th. Time, Fridays at 7 p.m. Saturdays, 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. Sundays, 1 p.m., 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. And a special showing on Easter Monday at 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. Rate 200 Ghana cedis. Get your tickets on the Korba Shorts code star 365 star 535 hash and at all regular outlets. Call 059-6922-040. WhatsApp 050-554-6030. Sponsors: Chino Tomato Mix, TCB Bank Limited, and M Notify. Roverman Productions. Be the difference.
Hey,
Cashman.
Yeah.
Don't you know Nana has assembled all of us and you are here making calls?
My generator is spoiled too. So I'm calling a renowned Ghanaian company with an excellent track record in the sales and repairs of generator sets in Accra to come and repair for me.
Is it Anointed Electricals?
Yeah.
Anointed Electricals deals in quality and genuine generators with high fuel efficiency. We also rent generators.
They sell quality generators from 10 kVA to 2500 kVA. They have spare parts of other generators and can repair every faulty generator set even if you didn't buy from them.
Look, now we don't have any electrical problem in Accra.
How?
Because Anointed Electricals is right here at East Legon, Lagos Avenue, opposite Tomric Hotel.
And that's why Nana is calling us.
Okay.
Yes.
If you want to buy a brand new generator or repair the old one, visit Anointed Electricals. Or if you are within Accra, call our hotline 0246 423 534
or call 0243 480 334. They have qualified and dedicated men on 24-hour after sales service.
Then let's go and listen to Nana. Let's go.
Gosh, after giving you the hint, won't you give me anything?
Anointed, the generator experts.
Waikari Capital. We are a multinational fund management company regulated by the Securities and Exchange Commission. Our aim is to help our customers thrive by enabling them to achieve their lifetime financial goals while investing their funds in ways that create a positive future for them, their families, and their businesses. In this way, we help them to create the best life. Speak to us today. Call us on 050-157-7546 or 050-157-7547. Visit www.waikaricapital.com. Waikari Capital. Together towards tomorrow.
Usually, we get special treatment only on our birthday. But imagine getting a special package every single day. That's what AT's Daily Deals gives you. You get unique voice and data deals exclusive to you. What's even better is it's affordable, reliable, and available. Start experiencing AT's Daily Deals. Dial *533# today and every single day. When you do, you'll unlock exclusive data and voice packages valid for 24 hours. Come on, people, jump on the AT Daily Deals train. When you're with dealer now. Dial *533# now and access awesome data and voice deals only from AT. Life is simple.
Coffee in your cup and joy on the set. The Super Morning Show is always the best bet on Joy 99.7 FM.
The existing legal frameworks and reject the attempts by the Executive Secretary of the President through his contemptuous letter to instruct the Clerk to Parliament, we shall not cease and desist. In the light of this process, the House is unable to continue to consider the nominations of His Excellency the President to use the language of the Attorney General and Minister for Justice, quote, in the spirit of upholding the rule of law, until after the determination of the application for interlocutory injunction by the Supreme Court.
We in the NDC minority is ready to protect the sanctity of the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, and we stand with the Speaker of Parliament in this. It is obvious that His Excellency the President has breached the Constitution, and we will advise ourselves. In the coming days, don't be surprised that we will begin impeachment proceedings against the President.
We in the majority beg to disagree on the position taken by him. If you carefully read the letter that was sent to Parliament, Mr. President limited himself to the processes before the courts, and the fact that Parliament itself, through an affidavit, had joined issues. Parliament has filed an affidavit in opposition and is in court. In fact, Parliament is a party to the suit. So for us, we do not see how this would have to affect the proceedings of Parliament.
Coffee in your cup and joy on the set. The Super Morning Show is always the best bet on Joy 99.7 FM.
First of all, whether the executive secretary to the president got it right, because now the speaker says he's also learning from them, and has thus decided that they cannot consider the approval of nominees for various positions by the president. This morning, like I indicated, we want to learn more about this. We want to understand what the position of the law is. And Martin Kpebu is a private legal practitioner. He's joined us. Martin Kpebu, good morning. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning, Winston. Morning.
Great, Martin. I'll get to you shortly, but first let me introduce our parliamentary correspondent, Kweku Asante, who's also in studio with us. Kweku, good morning.
Good morning, Winston.
Kweku, so tell us what happened in Parliament. I mean, we've listened to the Speaker, we've heard from the Minority Leader, we've heard from the Majority Leader, but you were in Parliament. Tell us what really happened leading to all of these.
So, Winston, this had been coming. In fact, yesterday in the afternoon, we picked signals that something of this sort was going to happen because the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, had been in the US for like a week now. He had not been in the House. The deputies had been presiding. And on the back of that letter from the Executive Secretary to the President, we understood that the Speaker of Parliament was not happy and he wanted to do something about it. And so, yesterday, he arrived in the country very early in the morning and asked that he wanted to preside on the key part of Parliament leading to adjournment. And so about 2 o'clock, as about 2 p.m. yesterday, the House had to suspend and wait for him. So for about 4 hours, the House was not sitting, waiting for the Speaker to come in and then lead the House to conclude business. In fact, normally when the House is about to proceed on adjournment for Christmas, for Easter, or for whatever, the Speaker will have a closing remarks. The leaders on both sides will also have same. So we expected something of the sort, but we knew there was something big coming. So when he took his chair, he zoomed right into the conversation, addressing a very lengthy statement at the President and his Executive Secretary. In fact, he described their conduct as contemptuous of Parliament, as to whether or not he'll be taking on Nabedi Etu Asante for contempt of Parliament. We do not know yet. But for over 60 paragraphs of the very lengthy one, he really tore into shreds the President's position that because of an injunction application that had been filed by Richard Sky against the anti-LGBTQ bill, the President says he's not even able to receive the anti-gay bill, let alone signal his intention to sign it or not sign it. And you know that the other case having to do with Dr. Mando Doi has actually been disposed of by the court early on. The court had decided that it will not injunct Parliament in the doing of its work. They did not believe at the time that a case had been made, a prima facie case had been made to warrant the use of the court jurisdiction on that matter. So the Speaker of Parliament did all that, and then just when he was about to end, he catch all of us by surprise by saying that he had actually just also been served by an injunction application filed by NDC MP for Saudai, Roxanne Nelson Defemepo, on the ministerial nominees. We know that the President reassigned some ministers, but Eugenia Haynes put out a letter and said that the President had revoked the appointment, and then in the same letter he said those persons had been reassigned. Roxanne Nelson Defemepo says, if you revoke the appointment of a minister, you must necessarily bring him back to Parliament to come and face vetting committee. The majority had explained that this was just English semantics and that the President was clear in his mind that he had just transferred those persons. Roxanne Nelson, the will have none of that. He had gone to the Supreme Court and filed also for application for interlocutory injunction. The Speaker says, I've been served with that, and because of that, I'm going by the same principle that he had actually disagreed with and said that it was not a good law. But it says if the President said that is the new principle, he's going to abide by that also. And over 22 of President Akufo-Addo's ministerial nominees will all now be approved. As of now, we don't have a substantive minister at the Information Ministry. We don't even have a substantive deputy minister because the minister has been reassigned to Works and Housing. The deputy appointment as a deputy minister has been revoked and promoted to Minister of State. And she has been vetted. She has not now been approved. How is she going to act and all that? So yesterday, the Speaker caught everyone by surprise. The key government business that were all going to be done, the Speaker of Parliament will not listen to anybody.
What were these key government business?
In fact, there were loans, $150 million, that is said to be coming to support the 2024 budget. It's been touted as so crucial to stabilizing the current exchange rate. In fact, yesterday, while the House was on an adjournment, the Minister of Finance was in Parliament negotiating with the Finance Committee how to present their report. Also, tax waivers coming in. We know that KT Amon has been chasing it. Yesterday, he was going up and down, trying to get Kweku Kwarteng to invite members of the Finance Committee to sit on that report. Kweku Kwarteng had given an indication that he was not going to do that. And in fact, my sources were telling me that the government side were trying to get the Vice Chairman of the Finance Committee, Patrick Boamatu, to get a committee to meet and work on that. There were also number of key papers that have to be laid ahead of Parliament coming next meeting. If you've not laid them now, you can't work on them when you come. And then there are bills. There are so many crucial bills that government hopes they can get it out of the way, because next meeting is rather short. After that meeting, Parliament is literally gone comatose ahead of the election. They will not come and sit again. They will come in November for 4 days, and then they will again sign that until January 2025 when they come and swear new members. So the government side racing against time to pass some bills, do some key business, because if you don't do them now and Parliament expires, all those business also expires with the Parliament, and you have to start them afresh in 2025. So government wants to avoid that. And so the Speaker of Parliament reads his lengthy address, bangs the gavel and says, I've adjourned the House. Not listening to anybody. The majority side clearly were shocked. They thought after the Speaker had disagreed with the President and said all the things he wanted to say, they will be given an opportunity to react. In fact, the majority leader, it appeared, had written an address that he wanted to read on the floor. The minority leader as well. And the Speaker of Parliament just bangs the gavel and walks away. And then the minority does a news conference, clearly backing the Speaker of Parliament, saying that if the new principle that the President has laid is anything to go by, that is the same thing that they are also going to hold the President for. The new standard now in Parliament, according to the Speaker and the minority, is that if any government business comes to the floor and anybody goes to court and files an injunction application, Parliament will not consider that. And so that is the new principle that the Speaker said is going to hold in Parliament until the President have a rethink on the anti-LGBTQ bill and probably acts on that. So the majority side also does a news conference disagreeing with the Speaker, and now we are learning that if you look at the standing orders, it gives room that 25% of MPs may recall Parliament to come and do business. So the majority side urgently looking at that option to see if after Easter, right after Easter, they can get at least 40 MPs to sign on, and they have it because they have 137 MPs to be able to come back to the House to come and transact those business. As to whether or not, if the Speaker of Parliament calls that meeting, he will even allow them to do any business, is something that we would have to see in the future. But it's really the executive and the legislature now on a coalition course Wednesday.
Great, Kweku. Stay with me. Let me get onto the line now and speak to Martin Kwebu, who's a legal practitioner. So, Martin, I want us to understand the position of the law first of all. We've seen the letter from the executive secretary to the president indicating that because there's an application for injunction against the president assenting to this bill, even Parliament should not transmit it to the president legally. Is that right?
Yes, on the face of it, there is a number of decisions that say that once a person has been served with an application for injunction, that person should cease and desist from continuing with that conduct or action that is intended to be injuncted. So, if Parliament was in the process of transmitting the bill to the president, yes, then that's a conduct that the injunction or the application seeks to stop. So stop it anyway. Wait for the court to go into the matter. Then afterwards, if you win, you may continue. But for instance, so a very popular decision on that principle is called Republic versus High Court, ex parte Moffat. Yes, so it's a very popular case, and it's even cited in the recent Benjamin Dufour versus Bank of Ghana case. So that's one. You won't get quite a significant number of lawyers disagreeing. No, because naturally you will never find all lawyers agreeing. You will find somebody who will come and say he doesn't agree. But I'm talking from a practitioner's perspective. You ask any lawyer who has been going to the court for a reasonable number of years. They ask, "Master, have you been served with an injunction?" Says yes. Can you continue notwithstanding the pendency of the application? You will get a resounding no. Just wait. Wait it out till the court is done. Except there's been instances where when there are sensitive government projects involved, then you see that they try to say, well, the state will melt, etc., national security, then you would find people trying to say continue. But that is not law. The proper thing is, if you think the state is going to melt or anything, then you would apply for abridgment of time so that the court will deal with the matter quickly. But you are not allowed once you've received an application for injunction, Winston. And no matter how bogus it appears, look, it can have so many typographical errors, not the best of English, all right, etc. But as long as it is an application that the court is here to deal with, it doesn't lie within the other party's mouth to say that, oh, this application is so bad, it doesn't cut master, so I'll just ignore it. No. Otherwise, there will be chaos.
But Martin, I mean, talking about the application, so we get that point. But the Attorney General advises that the President doesn't assent pending the determination of these cases. The Attorney General did not say that the bill be not transmitted to the Executive or to the President. So in this case, can't the bill be transmitted, for instance, while we wait for the determination of the case before the President assents?
Listen, to be very candid with you, I don't think so. Listen, there's a matter in court. Just wait. Yes, because it's against the spirit. It's not just the signing. Anything that has to do with the signing as well. Once you've been served that this conduct, the bill that has been passed, it's unconstitutional, etc., just wait. So for me, to be very honest, I don't support the president that much, but for me to tell you that after this conduct is kosher, then it tells you that really it is. I mean, you've been served, just wait. So I really don't think that saying the bill should not be transmitted is offensive as such. No. Except, of course, some of the words that were used. So if they are complaining about the DUT's choice of words, that's a different argument altogether. But when it comes to the substance of the matter, which is that don't sign pending the determination of the application by the Supreme Court, that one very clear. The president is right not to sign pending the determination of the application.
In that same light, is the Speaker right in not approving the ministers?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's the same principle. Yes. So the same by parity of reasoning. So my understanding is that Roxanne Nelson Dacia McCoy is filed a suit. I've seen the actual suit. I've not seen I've seen the rate. That's what I mean with the actual, the rate, the substantive rate. I've not seen the application for injunction. But the Speaker says he's been served. So once he's been served, the same principle, ex parte move part. And Winston, I can tell you, 1,000 times, that you won't be wrong based on ex parte move part. You say, look, I've been served with the application. I'm holding my hand. You are within law. You are within law. Earlier on, maybe I hope I'm not running ahead of myself.
Go ahead.
You referred to the Welford faculty. So this is the context. It is when the application has been determined or is being determined, then that's when the merits come in. But the principle is that no matter how bogus it is, you see, you can get an application. You see that this one is really bogus. But as part of due process, you hold your hands. You are not the judge. Go to court and deal with it. But you can't look at the application and say that it will fail. So because it will fail, I will just go ahead and do what I want. That will be contempt. And see, the contempt powers are very wide. And even we add that even in the absence of an application, if you do anything, that eviscerates the case. Like you take the substance out, what you've done, you just make the case itself useless. Let's use the Ghanaian balance. Meaning that, so let's take a typical example. This particular one, assuming that the president is going to sign or not sign. Even assuming they hadn't filed an application for injunction, but they had just filed a writ saying that this particular anti-LGBT bill don't sign it, and there's no application for injunction. If you are using two principles of law, the principle that don't do anything to stultify the administration of justice, you have to wait. Because
Martin, if you could kindly reposition yourself, we seem to be losing you, and if you have your radio on, you can kindly switch it off for us.
Radio's off.
Okay, then kindly reposition yourself.
Moving vehicle.
I think it's better now.
Okay. Yeah, so I was making the point that once the conduct that is the subject matter of the suit is such that if you do anything, you've run ahead of the court, you have to stop, even if there's no application. So there's a general principle of contempt that don't do anything that stultifies the administration of justice. So I was making the point that even this anti-LGBTQ bill, in the absence of the pending application for injunction, any day I would have advised the president not to sign, because that is the crux of the matter before the court. Don't do anything that renders the court processes everything ahead nugatory, useless. No. So you don't always need an application for injunction. Winston, that's the point I'm making.
Okay.
You don't always need it. Look, sometimes you just look at the case itself. You look at the merits and you see that, no, this conduct, if I do conduct X, it just goes against the letter and spirit of the whole lawsuit. So I won't do it. Because if you go ahead, you can be convicted on contempt. Yes. Okay. And that principle has always been there. Let me quickly recount. It was used to convict Krobeduse in Kwame Nkrumah's time. It was used to convict S. Dombo. Dombo was Minister for Interior under Buzier's regime. He was also convicted, right? So don't always say that, oh, there's no application for injunction, I can just go ahead. No. In recent times, it looks like there's a certain brinkmanship in government when it comes to certain, it didn't start with this administration. Okay, yeah, it's been, brewing for some time now. There's a certain brinkmanship. They look at the conduct and say, oh, this one, if we stop, the nation is going to melt, so go ahead. Like you see the e-levy thing. Yes. It turned out that it was a ruse. The nation wasn't going to melt, right? Those type of things. This is not the only time. But look at a classical example where the president didn't do anything, didn't run ahead of the Supreme Court. In the previous administration, when Kweku Asare filed against the Constitutional Review Commission's work, look, that was a suit that when I read it, it was very clear to me that no, this case will not fly. I knew that no, it won't fly from what I had read. I'm sure lots of lawyers also knew. But the thing was that the matter is in court. He didn't apply for injunction, and no injunction was granted. But the ex-president stayed his hands. I think that was JM. JM stayed his hands until the matter ran its course. And by the time it was done, we didn't, so many other reasons, we didn't get our much wanted constitutional review, something that we're all very passionate about. Yet one lawsuit stopped us, and there was no application or order for injunction. Yet the president stopped. So that's a practical example that you don't always need an application for injunction. But where there is one, hey, Master, don't try it at all to ignore it.
But Martin, so we've seen what's happened in Parliament. What happened in Parliament yesterday? Isn't this thing being abused now? Because all of a sudden you've seen, somebody go to court and say, well, you also cannot do this because we are learning from what you say, okay, that's the law. But now the president has said, this is what I'm going to do. It didn't do in the past. Isn't this subject to abuse? And wouldn't this affect, for instance, even our democratic processes? Because now anybody can just choose to go to court and apply for an injunction and as a result prevent you from doing what you are constitutionally mandated to do.
No, I don't see it in terms of, I don't see it causing so much harm if you take a long-term view. Immediately, it can stultify or disrupt matters for a day or two, but not any longer. You know why? Let's say the application that the speaker talks about, it's within the powers of the defendants, right? The Attorney General and the speaker, or even the defendants in the case, to apply for what we call abridgment of time. Yeah, and there's the Supreme Court has held in a number of cases. They can abridge the time quickly. So if it's that very urgent, they will abridge it and say, come on. And there's been a number of cases that they've used abridgment of time and dealt with expeditiously. So as long as we have those powers in the court, well, there may be a bit of a delay, but not long-term as such. Or, it won't probably cause too much damage. A day or two or maybe a week, yes, we may lose. But there are enough.
Yes, but Martin, so let's say the Attorney General calls for an abridgment of time. Then I also file another application.
Okay. Yes. So now the Supreme Court can give an order showing the way forward for subsequent applications. They did that in the 2016 election. Remember the Nana Kunedu's rate?
Yes.
Nana Kunedu's case in the Supreme Court.
Yes.
Right?
2016.
No, it's Indum. I think it was Indum.
It was Indum. Yes, he was represented by
Indum,
IPOB.
yes. And then Kunedu was in the line also preparing to go or something like that. And then there were other presidential candidates who had grievances. Yeah, so the Supreme Court saw all those ones coming and gave an order that for the same reason, all the subsequent applications or those who intended to come, they should all abide by the ruling. So the Supreme Court opened the door for all of them. So in the same way, if the court is giving enough evidence that now people are aware that, if you just file an application, no matter how frivolous, the rule is that wait till the court deals with it. People who abuse the process, the Supreme Court knows how to deal with it.
Well, talking about the Supreme Court knows how to deal with it, there are also, so you've talked about this particular case. Yes, in this particular case, the court ruled and gave all of them a chance. But you lawyers also have a nice way of going about things. You look at the gaps and then come back again. The question is, wouldn't this in the long term affect, because Speaker Bagbin makes a reference to Justice Databan's point in Welford Kwaku case, where it says if it's going to affect the job of state institutions, that cannot be done.
Yes, so that was a previous decision.
Yes.
And the court's decision was based on the facts of that case. Okay? The facts of that case. So they will tell you that no two decisions are the same. If you ask me, currently, this situation we have, the anti-LGBTQ law, the narrative, it's not my understanding that Ghana is about to dissolve, Ghana is about to descend into chaos because the anti-LGBTQ bill has not been signed. I've not seen such evidence. And you remember even 2 years ago or so, the E-Leviton were deceived. It turned out to be a ruse. So it's based on the evidence. So this particular one, I don't see any imminent danger that Ghana is about to be blown out or blown off the whole country. We are all just, going to disappear. No, there isn't that danger. And then you ask about the second one, the one that Fiamepo filed. Oh, that one, Winston, I can tell you that I'm happy that the Speaker has applied the same principle so that these ministers will not be approved. This government is over-bloated. They are wasting too much public funds. So it's good that in the interim, these guys won't come. And if I had my way, another fact, if we can hold them off for the rest of the time of this administration, it's something I'll support any day. Because this government is too bloated. Too bloated. They are spending our money left, right, center, and we don't seem to have much power to do something about it. So This is good riddance, right?
But yes, Martin, someone just sent me a message that says, if I bring an injunction against the EC on 6th December against holding the election, what happens?
So you see, earlier on I mentioned that when there are certain sensitive government projects, then you can look at it and see that this one, if we don't, there's going to be too much trouble, national security, etc. So sometimes people ignore. But it's not the right thing. If you bring the injunction against the EC on the 5th, as I stated earlier, if you want to use proper law, the right thing will be for the EC to apply for abridgment. And so throughout the 9th, the sitting can be conducted. The Martin Table number 4 versus Attorney General number 4. Yeah, that's one of the principles that was held in there. That the judiciary will determine when courts sit. And so, if you file it on the 5th of December, the proper thing, if I were for EC, is to immediately apply for abridgment of time. It will be heard. You yourself, the plaintiff, will be sought after. The court will make orders that publish it on radio. That the plaintiff and his lawyer should come to court maybe by 6 p.m. The court will sit 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, throughout, whatever it takes. But they can finish dealing with it according to law if they want to. But if that one fails, or they are not willing to do that, that's the type that sometimes you look at the rate, it's not proper law, but people will say, this action now, it will fail. So I will ignore it and go ahead. But that is not good law.
So that is not good law. You've made the point. That is not good law. If you fail the abridgment of time on the 6th of December, for instance, you're saying if somebody should do that, then it means you can't have an election based on your proper understanding of the law.
Yeah, yes, that's it. But and so I'm expecting that. Listen, this is basic. A competent lawyer knows that he has to go for abridgment. You can't. Then otherwise, the client will even sack you.
So in all of this, you say both Speaker and Executive Secretary of the President are right.
Absolutely.
They're just applying the law.
Absolutely, 130%. This one, you can't be wrong.
But you are also advising that if you had your own way, particularly the approval of ministers be delayed until the end of this government's tenure.
I tell you, Winston, that would be like a Christmas bonanza for me. Because Winston, it's nauseating. I can't believe that this is the president we voted for. So much hope. All the hope is being dashed. So much corruption, waste in the public sector. So much. I'm like, is this a dream? I can't wait for December 7th.
Let's hold on.
When I woke up this morning, I was like, so can there be abridgment of time for December 7th as well? I know it's in the Constitution, Article 60, Clause 13. It says when the president and the vice resign, within 3 months, we can have an election. Not that we can. We must have an election. So what the president can do for us with Baubia is that they just resign immediately. Let's have the election within 3 months. Because listen, we are suffering. We are suffering everywhere. There's so much despondency, so much anger, everything. It's like our democracy is just been thrown to the dogs. Why do we have to wait to December 7th when the Constitution is giving a very clear answer that president and vice resign? You must have the elections within 3 months. What are we waiting for? When the president himself expressly said it last year that, look, he can't do anything about the economy again, we should wait for the new leader. So why are we waiting when we can do it within 3 months?
So this is your prayer?
Yes. Let's have the election within 3 months because it's a waste of time. He himself said it to Winston. Have you seen that tape where he said
it was my colleague who asked the question. So I have listened. I have seen the video.
Yes. So let's play it. That Mr. President, you and Baumia just step down now.
Subsequently, he says he's in charge.
Oh no! That's an afterthought in law. It's a very lame afterthought. Look,
Martin, let's end it at this point. We'll continue with that conversation another day. Thank you very, very much, Martin Kpebu, for joining us this morning. Martin Kpebu is a private legal practitioner. I still have Kweku Asante here with me. So Kweku, that's it. Martin Kpebu says there's nothing that can be done about it. The Speaker is just following the law. The Executive Secretary to the President also following the law.
Exactly. I mean, the message you got was instructive. I think that there are those in Parliament and outside who hold a view that it will be problematic to hold that once an injunction application is filed, especially for state institutions, they are to stop acting. And in fact, the Speaker of Parliament makes that point, that if that is the principle that is supposed to be held now, then ultimately government business is going to suffer in the House, because as soon as anybody files an injunction application, he's going to put it on hold. He's not going, because of course the Speaker of Parliament disagrees completely with any view that Parliament can be injuncted in the performance of its lawful functions. So let's see how it goes, Winston.
Indeed, let's see how it goes. This is the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. Stay with us. When we return after these messages, we'll talk about taxes. We'll talk about issues of tax amnesty. And if you're a business, I'm sure you may be happy about what the Vice President, Dr. Bamia, is saying, if given the chance, what he intends to do.
This boy, he will kill his own father and marry his own mother.
Prepare to be captivated by magic as the biggest play in the history of African theatre makes another stop this March. The gods are not to blame. Mark your calendars for Thursday, 21st March, 7 p.m., Friday, 22nd March, 7 p.m., and Saturday, 23rd March at 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. at the National Theatre. Tickets are selling now at only 150 cedis at imagebureaugh.com or dial star 714 star 11 star 21 hash. Don't miss this rejuvenated rerun of the epic tale of Odewale. The gods are not to blame. Supported by Joy FM. Produced by Image Bureau in partnership with April Communications and the National Theatre, and proudly brought to you by the Ghana Tourism Authority and the Beyond the Return Secretariat.
Because all lizards lie prostrate. How can one tell which lizard suffers from bellyache?
Tower is forecasting showers of free bets every day with Aviator Rain. Look out for free bets falling at regular intervals between 10 o'clock a.m. and 2 o'clock p.m. And again between 5 o'clock p.m. and 9 o'clock p.m. with up to 250,000 in free bets given away every day across Africa. Could you rain dance your way to a 3 million win at the home of Africa's biggest ever aviator winner? Find out at betpower.com.gh. That's betpawa.com.gh. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly. 18 years and above only. Gaming can be addictive. Terms and conditions apply.
Everywhere you go, big go for the friends and the family. Big go, big refreshing moment. Big go for the kids and the adults. Big go, boys and girls with a drink up. Big go, everywhere the party day. Big go, we go mash up the place with it. Big go, greatest in every battle. Big go, big go, big go, big go, big go, big go, big go. Big refreshing moment.
Big old drink. Big refreshing moment.
Another quality product from Trillium Industries. This advert is FDA approved.
Are you a corporate organization, e-commerce business, individual or student looking for a trusted courier company where you can track your package and receive SMS alerts to keep you posted? At IAS FedEx, we move your documents and parcels with care to the destination of your choice. With offices across the nation, we happily deliver your package to your office or the comfort of your home. With the assurance of safety and affordability giving you peace of mind, IAS FedEx has your package in good hands. Call us on +233 501 605,000 or +233 501 631,000. IAS, licensee of FedEx.
National Health Insurance.
Great news! The National Health Insurance Scheme (NHIS) has waived the waiting period for all members aged 70 years and above. All 70 years and above are also exempted from paying a premium. Enrollments and renewal are absolutely free on the NHIS. Members who are 70 years and above can automatically access healthcare when they newly register with the NHIS or renew their membership annually. You are no longer required to serve the 1-month waiting period for late renewals. Dad, mom, grandpa, and grandma, let your old age be filled with good health and access instant healthcare at zero cost on the NHIS today. Download the My NHIS mobile app to register with your Ghana card or visit the nearest NHIS office. Terms and conditions apply. For details, contact the NHIS call center on 054 444 6447 or 0302 746 447. NHIS, your access to quality healthcare. This message is brought to you by the United States Agency for International Development, USAID.
In life, choice is good, but choice plus safety is way better. Your safety and comfort is paramount. Under the cylinder recirculation model, you can buy LPG in a safe environment. All cylinders are inspected and maintained to the best safety standards, so your safety is assured. Just take your empty cylinder to the nearest exchange point and swap it for a filled cylinder. Different cylinder sizes will be available to meet your pocket size. Imagine cooking in a smoke-free environment. This will improve the health and well-being of you and your family. Choose LPG in a safer model of distribution. Cylinder recirculation model. Securing your safety. Creating more jobs. A message from the National Petroleum Authority under the patronage of the Ministry of Energy.
Coffee coffee in your cup, and joy on the set, the Super Morning Show is always the best bet on Joy 99.7 FM.
All right, so welcome back, and thank you very much for staying with us here on the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. You just heard, Martin Kwebu, who's private legal practitioner, indicating that the president is right, as in the executive secretary to the president is right in saying that the president shouldn't assent, but not only not assenting, Parliament should not even transmit the bill to the president. And he also says that the Speaker of Parliament is also right, because the basic principle is that where you've been injuncted, you don't continue with that action. Where you've been indicated to that there's an application for an injunction, you don't even continue with that action. We're moving on to our next issue for today, and that has to do with issues about taxes and all of that. The Vice President is meeting the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and he says, look, there are so many problems with our tax system, and he wants to make it right. He wants to start on a clean slate from 2025, if given the chance to be President of the Republic. And so there'll be tax amnesty. He also says our tax system is complex, and he intends to change that. We've been joined this morning by former Finance Minister Seth Terkper. He knows a lot when it comes to taxation. Seth Terkper, good morning. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning to you, and thanks for the compliment.
Great.
I learned from others, so yeah.
Good. Now, before we take your views on what the Vice President is saying, just let's listen to what the Vice President said.
The targets that they are set, these hardworking officers, sometimes are very unrealistic. And that leads to harassment of business, because you have to get something out of them. And this is why you say prepay when you haven't earned 1 cent, 1 cedi, and you have to prepay. We are going to introduce a very simple and business-friendly tax system as we have in Estonia. Simple flat tax. Anybody can calculate their tax liability just on the back of an envelope. You don't need any a tax accountant really to tell you. So we have had a situation where there's so much dispute between GRA and businesses over what is owed. I am aware of a company that is being charged, something like 50 million Ghana cedis, and they say they are not even worth up to 5 million, right? There's so much going because of the harassment and the need to make money. So we are going to start with a clean slate in 2025. And that is why in 2025, we are going to grant a tax amnesty to all.
So you heard from the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Honorable Seth Terkper, you've heard from him. He's talked about the complex system we have here. And he intends to change it. He intends to have a flat tax rate that everybody can calculate. In fact, on the back of a paper, you just calculate, as is done in Estonia, he mentions. But also to start on a clean slate tax amnesty. What's your take on that? Good, isn't it?
Thank you very much. Yeah, it looks attractive, but unrealistic. And a big question is, which tax are we talking about? VAT is a flat rate tax. It was at 15%, increased to 17.5%, but that was the only rate. It is the current administration that introduced the VAT flat rate scheme, which made it complex in the first place. It was this same administration that removed Get Fund and NHIL from the VAT base and made them levies. They call them straight levies. That added a complexity because businesses now have to file separately for VAT and file separately for straight levy, the two straight levies, and then they were denied input tax credit, or refund, which was a characteristic of the VAT, and everybody added it to cost, right? After that, they started adding other levies. Currently they have about 15 levies. So when you talk about the complexity of the tax administration, when we take VAT, which globally is a single rate, flat rate, it is this administration that has made it complex. Now, secondly, taxation has an objective. all our tax instruments are good. So take excise. Are you going to make excise flat rate? Because excise is punitive. So are you saying that if I have my small car and I go and buy petrol and it is a 4-cylinder or whatever 2-cylinder, I should pay the same as a person with V8, V6, and the rest, who are the guzzlers and who pollute the environment more? Is that what you are saying? Because excise is designed to be punitive, and that's why it's on alcohol, petroleum, and tobacco, which are meant to be injurious and harmful products, right? So again, what are you going to make flat about it? A single rate? Then he's likely talking about the income tax.
Yes.
And the income tax has an equity principle. The more you earn, the more you pay. So if I pay 1,000 cedis at 10%, I pay 100 at 10% on my 1,000, which I earn, right? Mm-hmm. And somebody pays 1,000 on his 10,000. The person who is paying 1,000 on his 10,000, trust me, has a lesser tax impact or burden than the person who is earning 1,000. Which is why when you are earning a certain level of income close to minimum wage, you don't even pay taxes at all. And then the rate is graduated so that if you earn slightly above the zero, which is the exemption, you pay 5%. If you earn a bit higher, you pay 10%. A bit higher, you pay 15%. Again, the complexity. The top marginal rate was being brought down to 25%. It is this same administration that increased it to 30% and to 35%. The economic management team of this same administration. So who made the tax system complex? Right? So it may sound attractive, but the flat rate would undermine what we call the equity or fairness of the tax, a very important principle that says that the more you earn, the more you must pay towards the development of the country.
So I mean,
this is accepted.
Mm-hmm.
And that is why, that is why you have only a few countries, and Estonia is always cited. That's why it is many countries don't implement the flat rate because it is regressive. And I'm surprised that the Vice President is saying this, because they oppose the VAT on grounds of being regressive, even though it has a flat rate, and made it even more complex and more regressive. Now you want to add income tax and make that also regressive. So I don't think it's implementable. It's one of the things that, again, we are back to the era where things are set. They look attractive and simple, but trust me, it will be very difficult to implement. And even if we did, it will be we'll be implementing a very, very unfair tax system.
Now, he's speaking to businesses. No, hold on a minute. He's speaking to businesses, and so he's also making reference to their corporate income taxes, for instance. He makes a point that they have to pay taxes quarterly, sometimes even without making much. And so he believes some of these things should change. Is he wrong?
Again, the Vice President is getting it wrong. When Professor Mills became Commissioner of Income Tax, he made a very significant change because he was a tax expert. The quarterly payments he's talking about used to be paid in advance at the beginning of the month, because he's saying that to make it easy for you to pay your tax and also not to take everything to the end of the year, you pay quarterly. But it was being paid in advance. It was changed to quarterly in arrears, which is you pay at the end of the month, the same way you do with VAT, which you pay even at the end of the following month. So it is presumed that the quarterly amount you are paying, you have already earned the income and therefore pay a portion of the tax instead of carrying to the end of the year. So unless the current administration has in the system, then what he's saying, I think somebody needs to get into understand the technical people that we now pay the quarterly advance since Professor Murphy's time as commissioner as a payment of tax in arrears, not in advance as it used to be.
How about the tax amnesty?
Go to Act 955, 2017. This administration implemented an amnesty law. They have still not accounted to the nation as to how effective the tax amnesty was. It was implemented in 2019. I'm giving you the title. The Tax Amnesty, Act 2017, Act 955, I believe. The reason many countries don't, there are about 3 reasons why many countries don't grant amnesty unless under very special circumstances. It means that you are forgiving the tax for the non-compliance, the person who did not comply. And those who complied are paid faithfully. What is the reward? They have been progressive in making a payment. The second point, therefore, is that it is realized that the more frequent you do amnesty, 2017 you did an amnesty, you want to do another amnesty, people will get to know that non-compliance pays. The second reason. And therefore, since non-compliance pays, they would rather wait until the next amnesty. And the country that used to grant many amnesties and have started is India. You can Google and check. Again, this is why amnesty is not, when something is not done globally, like the flat tax amnesty, you must ask yourself why. This is the other reason, that you enter non-compliance. And the third reason is that the tax system is based on what's called voluntary compliance or self-assessment. So it is the taxpayer who has to sit back and say, this is the amount of VAT sales that I made, I must pay the tax. This is the amount of income that I earn, either personal income or corporate income tax. And by the way, the corporate income tax is flat. And it came down to 25%. In the current administration, that increased it, to 35%. So what we are talking about in terms of flat tax is just personal income tax. But back to amnesty, we are saying that, therefore, you have infringed the law. And it's when you infringe the law that the enforcement comes in to make you comply. So the more we are beginning to, get into that trap of granting amnesty, by the time you get a third one, taxpayers will know. And then they will get used to it. And they will put pressure on every government to grant an amnesty. That is the only issue with amnesty. And that's why many countries don't apply it. It's okay if you apply it once in a long while, but for you to apply it within a decade twice, when you have not even accounted for the success. Let's first tell Ghanaians what was the success rate in 2017. And then we can know whether it was effective or not. And if it was effective, then why do grant another, amnesty? It is the fact that it wasn't effective, and it's because, you have made the tax regime so complex that there's massive evasion and avoidance of the tax.
Yes, but Honorable Tekpe, when you talk about the fact that this could encourage, people non-compliant, some also argue that there are persons who know today that if they were to go if they were to get into the tax system, they may have to pay so much. So these persons are unwilling to get in. But once there's an amnesty, they may be willing to get in. And once they get in, subsequently, they get to pay. So there's also some positive aspect to it, isn't it?
I would rather advise taxpayers that rather than wait for the amnesty, they should go to the Commissioner General or their tax office and make an arrangement. It's allowed to make an arrangement to clear your tax arrears. Because you may be waiting for an amnesty, which because of public sentiment may not happen. So the tax law allows it for you to go to the tax office and say, I've been delinquent, I now want to be straight, and therefore can you allow me to spread my tax, which I owe over a period of time. and then you would even get more education, because sometimes you pay a flat rate like the quarterly estimates that we were talking about, but you may not have any income, so they can educate you. You know, in Ghana, a lot of people talk about tax incentives and the rest, which are already in the tax law. For example, if you have a container, right, and you bought a container for 20,000, 30,000 Ghana cedis, you can depreciate that container if you file your return. There's nothing that says that you must be in a shop, you know, before you can claim the depreciation. Secondly, if you are using your house and you have 1 meter and you have a shop, right, and the meter is, you know, you can approach, you know, a tax expert, and I don't mean an expensive one. There are many of them who can advise you, and you can charge a proportion of the electricity which you use to do the business against your income, and you pay less tax.
Yes.
If you are making losses, it is not only, in fact, again, under Professor Mills, what used to be special incentives for only foreigners who go to DIPC at the time was put in the law to make it applicable. So if you start a small business and you are making losses, because you have to grow before you can, if you make a loss and you file your return, you can be allowed to recover, not to pay, you know, what we call the tax holiday. That it doesn't apply to only, you know. So I think we should be promoting tax education and tax, you know, and that is why the Income Tax Act was revised. And that is why, at a point in time, if you remember, the tax offices were split into large, medium, and small, you know, so that, you know, the small offices can pay attention to the small businesses who do not even pay VAT because of the VAT threshold.
Okay.
So our tax regime is structured. Let us stop the distortion. You know, let us find a way of phasing out the 15 or so, you know, levies. The levies, many of the taxes we are calling levies today, I can assure you, under the old Act 500 and Act 501, they were called service taxes. And they were all placed under the VAT when the VAT was introduced. So what that we are doing is that we are reintroducing those taxes, incidentally, by a tradition that opposed the VAT on account of his being a nuisance tax.
Yeah, but
and you are introducing more taxes, which is even making more.
Mr. Tekpe, you'd also agree that today we're just going back to the same people and taxing them more. I mean, during your tenure, you had always indicated, for instance, something we have been talking about, the need to expand the tax net consistently. And so the very few people who pay are the ones that are consistently paying. The Vice President makes reference to that and says these people are being burdened. And so we are setting unrealistic targets for the GRA because we've not been able to deal with the system, the structure itself. And so we should be focusing on expanding the network, the nets, so that people get to pay taxes. That's something you would agree, wouldn't you?
I would agree, but I have a question. Today,
ahead.
if you import, everybody knows about ICOMS. Everybody goes online. We call it automation. Today we call it digitalization. You know, and you know exactly, you declare the goods you are bringing in, you pay your taxes online, and then you are ready when the ship comes, because you can do pre-shipment, then you claim. Question: who stopped the automation of the domestic tax system? Who stopped the digitalization of the domestic tax system, which we now call ITAX, and it's now a condition, the ITAX is now a condition in the IMF program. It's the current administration that stopped it. So you see, let me tell you how you can expand the tax base. It's not about putting an army of GRA officials to walk the streets. When all 70% or more of the VAT that is claimed as refund or credit is paid at the port. And one example of expanding the tax base is that the taxpayer has a taxpayer identification number. Now we call it national identification number, with the VAT is championing, right?
Yes.
So your tax identification number for import is the same as your VAT identification number for domestic. So if you are defrauding and you are inflating your VAT refund, your VAT credit, and the rest, the information is sitting in ICOMS. To strengthen, the tax base and to apply the appropriate tax. That's the only way in which you also you bring more people who are paying custom duty, for example, and are not paying taxes. The same national identification number, when even domestic, when you supply goods on your VAT return, it is there. So, and your VAT sales or output VAT is the same as your sales for calculating income tax. So let us proceed with the automation. Today we are giving excuses after nearly 2 years of the tender. We cannot award the contract, and we are asking for a deferment under the IMF program. So there are many things we can do, right? And by the way, you can look at the burden of the tax in more than one way. Ghana's tax to GDP ratio is around 12-13%. The highest rate we achieved. We are told this year, we are waiting for the final numbers. But this year it will be exceeded. But the highest rate we achieved was 2015. Even before we had 3 oil fields. 2015, even before we had 3 oil fields. Right? How come we are not able to, to expand the tax base? So that there are many ways you can expand the tax base. And there are many mechanisms you can set up, for information gathering. This is digitalization. And this is what, we started under Professor Mills, and it continued under, in fact, some of them started even under Rawlings and under Mr. Kufuor. But the second phase, the creation of GRA, is part of the reform. The measure of IRS and VAT was supposed to actually identify those who were getting income tax while paying VAT and vice versa. That's the reason for the measure. Because it's the same invoice. Why have we stopped the training? Why have we stopped the reorganization of the offices? Because, somebody is trained in only income tax, another person is trained in VAT. Why for 7 years have we stopped? Where is this epiphany coming from? Where is this epiphany coming from? To use a religious term. All of a sudden I'm saying the administration stopped many of these reforms. Just like the gift reform, which is also on the expenditure side. Even gift can provide information for tax administration if you interface it with the impasse, that's the domestic tax. Because contracted suppliers and others have to show their PIN or their national identification in the system. And all of a sudden, their tax offices have access to those things automatically through automation. And then you are sitting there and they send you a return. Right?
Okay.
So the old notion of expanding the tax base by walking the streets and whatever no longer applies. It is digitalization. And we used to call it automation. Right? So that is what is outstanding, and that is what's in the IMF program. We don't need the IMF to come and tell us this. Ghana has a very long experience. In any event, the same IMF and World Bank were giving us technical assistance for setting up all these issues. So who stopped this? Who stopped the march for the phase 2? The revision of all the laws. If we want a simple system for small businesses, there was a flat rate which we introduced after the VAT and when the Income Tax Act was being promulgated. That made it possible for you to pay only one tax as a small business, and it will meet your income tax presumptive scheme and your VAT obligation at the same time. And that was a compromise, that was made because there were people who believe in the VAT flat rate scheme. So we said, let the small business pay at least one GRA. So let them pay one rate which will represent both their income tax and their VAT. That's another simplification. That's another way of making it easy for the small business to apply. Who stopped it? It was reintroduced in the current budget. Right? Why are we not continuing with that to help the small businesses?
Okay. Honorable Tekpe, thank you very, very much for joining us. We're very grateful that you made time to join us this morning. Seth Tekpe is a former Minister of Finance and, like I indicated, has a lot of expertise in taxation. A bank says, dear valued customer, we are pleased to inform you that the technical issues affecting some of our digital channels, including the Fidelity mobile app, Fidelity online banking, and star 776 hash have largely been resolved. These disruptions were due to ongoing challenges with international undersea cables affecting nationwide communication services. While our technical team continues to work diligently to restore full functionality to our channels, we encourage you to utilize alternative banking options such as visiting your nearest Fidelity agent point, our 247 ATMs or Fidelity Bank branches for assistance with your banking needs. As an additional precaution, selected branches will offer Saturday banking services from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. on 23rd March 2024, this Saturday. Please find the list of the branches below: Hacho, Edum, Tema Community 1, Takoradi Market Circle, Spintes, Sunyani Main, Kaneshi Main, East Legon, Ahojo, Amasaman, Edum, PZ, Brekum, Kaswa, Ashaiman, Adenta, Tudu, Okanshi, Osu Oxford, Cape Coast Main, Koforidua, Ho, Takwa, Tesano, Techiman, Tamale, and Action Chapel. We apologize for any inconvenience this may cause and sincerely appreciate your patience and understanding during this period. Thank you for your continued support and for choosing Fidelity Bank. So are you looking for a freight forwarding company to handle both your inbound and outbound shipments? If yes, look no further, because IEX Freighters offers a wide variety of international freight services, which include air freight, sea freight, be it less container load or full container load, customs clearance and documentation, and our international operations link more than 200 countries, supported by extensive domestic networks in all key markets, and offer a range of fast and direct freight services to suit your needs. We have a dedicated staff who have in-depth knowledge in our local custom clearance process and procedures. IEX offers pre-finances freight pickups up to an agreed threshold for our clients, but terms and conditions apply. Please contact us for free consultation on international freight services and custom clearance processes. Call us on 0501 605,000 or 0501 63 1000. With IS Ghana, your freight is firmly secured. Now, Kingdom Books and Stationery Limited, your number one supplier of quality office essentials, equipment, and furniture at affordable prices, has introduced an online store for your shopping convenience. This means you can now shop by simply logging on to kingdomstoreonline.com without physically coming to any of their branches. It is hassle-free, and they will arrange delivery to your home and office within a reasonable time. And they offer free delivery within Accra and Tema and accept payment via Momo across all networks. Terms and conditions have applied. At Kingdom, quality and affordability are their hallmarks. When we return after these messages, our friends from Ernest Chemist will be joining us in studio.
Usually, we get special treatment only on our birthday. But imagine getting a special package every single day. That's what AT's Daily Deals gives you. You get unique voice and data deals exclusive to you. What's even better is it's affordable, reliable, and available. Start experiencing AT's Daily Deals. Dial star 533 hash today and every single day. When you do, you'll unlock exclusive data and voice packages valid for 24 hours. Come on, people, jump on the AT Daily Deals train. When you're with dealer now. Dial star 533 hash now and access awesome data and voice deals only from AT. Life is simple.
Salvation, healing, miracles. The Accra Sports Stadium is about to witness the unmistakable power of God.
Be healed. Be healed of weakness. Be healed of diseases. Be delivered from it right now. In the name of Jesus Christ.
The Good Friday Miracle Service with Evangelist Dag Heward-Mills is here with us again. Mark your calendars. It's 29th March, 3 p.m. at the Accra Sports Stadium. Yes, the Good Friday Miracle Service this year is happening at the Accra Sports Stadium. Experience the power of the cross and the efficacy of the blood as we come together to mark the great sacrifice of Jesus Christ. The Good Friday Miracle Service with Evangelist Dag Heward-Mills, 29th March 2024, 3 p.m. at the Accra Sports Stadium. Be there.
GoTV is stepping up your entertainment from the 15th of January at no extra cost to you. If you are on GoTV Value, upgrade to GoTV Plus to watch GoTV Max. Already on GoTV Plus? Upgrade to GoTV Max to enjoy GoTV Super. And if you are on GoTV Max, upgrade to GoTV Super to enjoy the best of the best on GoTV Super Plus. Don't wait. Step up your entertainment today. It's on us. GoTV. Love it. T's and C's apply.
Coffee in your cup. Enjoy.
Of us would have to stay alive. Very strong for that matter. And that's why today our friends from NS Chemist are in here with us in the studios of Joy 99.7 FM. And we're talking about, a unique remedy for all of us who are between the ages of 40 to 50, men between the ages of 40, 50 and above, who have a 50% chance of developing benign prostatic hyperplasia. And this obviously is a cause for concern, especially as it would appear that not much attention has been paid to addressing this situation, which has a serious negative effect on the productivity and reproduction of men. I'm sure that all of us here and all of us listening have a very fair idea about what prostate cancer is. Well, if you do not, just stay with us. Because this morning we're joined by Isaac Mensah, who is Brands Manager at NS Chemist, and Clement Atagra, who is Marketing and Corporate Communications Manager, also at NS Chemist. Clement, Isaac, good morning. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning, Winston.
And for those of you watching us live on Facebook, you can see the prostinal, displayed here. They will tell us more about that shortly. But for that person who's listening to us, who's probably asking himself, NS Chemist, I've seen it. I don't really know much about them. Who are you?
Okay. Good morning, Winston. And as we say in Ghana, your name is Bisa. NS Chemist is a household brand. Mm-hmm. In the last close to 40 years, we have been leading the process in terms of the distribution, manufacture, distribution, and retail of quality medications in Ghana. There's hardly any pharmacy or chemist shop anywhere in the country that will not find NS Chemist product. Talk about anti-Marys, talk about the stop coughs, talk about the, gastrones, the stop cough, the honey coughs, and all of that. We have close to 200 medication in terms of the portfolio. And so in the last 40 years, we have been leading this process. And so we are glad that even as we celebrate Ghana's month, we are proud that a Ghanaian company is leading the pharmaceutical industry in producing medication to solve the health needs of Ghanaians. So yeah, that is what I can say about NS Chemist.
Great. So before we go into other conversation about Prostenal and everything, it's important for you to educate us about the, benign prostatic hyperplasia, BPH for short, so that for those of us who don't have a better understanding of it, we get to know more about it.
Okay, thank you very much, Winston. Benign prostatic hyperplasia, it's a big word, but it simply means an enlargement of the prostate. So the prostate, every man has a prostate, yeah. Women don't have it, yes. So, the prostate is a gland that sits just below the bladder, and it surrounds the urethra. So urethra is more like the duct that empties the bladder out to the outside. So with time, it enlarges. So research says that it starts enlarging after 25 years. So, but after the age of 40, the rate increases. So every man after the age of 40 to about 50 has about 50% chance of developing that enlargement of the prostate. This chance even increases as you age. Yeah, so benign prostatic hyperplasia is simply an enlargement of the prostate gland. Yeah.
And when it enlarges, what happens? Where should that be a concern to me?
Yeah. So as I started by saying, it sits just below the bladder, and it surrounds the urethra. So if it enlarges, it presses the bladder itself, and also what the urine should pass through to the outside. So naturally, the first thing you realize is that you have a weak urine stream. I showed a picture before the show where what we used to do when we were kids, you can direct the wee everywhere, even over a wall. But the first sign of you having an enlarged prostate is that you can't do that again. Like the stream becomes weaker and weaker. Then you have frequency in urination, hesitancy, urgency in urination. Then there's nocturia. Nocturia is like waking up several times to wee in the night. Now that's so bothersome because you need to wake up and come to work, but you realize you're waking up more times in the night, like 8 times to wee. You wake up being so confused and all, so it affects productivity as well. And there's incomplete emptying. You wee and realize that you feel like it didn't all come out. Yeah. And then there's also dribbling, so it gets into your trouser and all. Yeah. So these are the few symptoms of a benign prostate or enlarged prostate, and it affects the quality of life. So usually the treatment is targeted towards improving the quality of life. So I think we'll get there and then we'll talk
Exactly.
about it.
So talking about improvement, I see the Prostenal here in front of us. Tell us about it. I mean, how does it address this worrying situation that you've explained?
Yes, thank you, Winston. So as we started, NS Chemist has partnered with Stada, an European company, to bring us Prostenal. It's a unique formulation. Of course, there are a lot of so-palmetto products on the market, but this is a unique combination. And let me take this opportunity to thank Prof. Matthew Che of Kolibru Urology. They helped us launch it on last Friday, at Alisa Hotel. So, and he was held by Farm Dr. Emmanuel Ireland. So, Prostenal contains saw palmetto, nettle, and zinc. Now, saw palmetto has a unique mechanism of addressing the enlargement of the prostate by halting the process and even shrinking it further. The mechanism is quite broad, but I think for our sake, I'll just leave it at that. And so it has the saw palmetto. The nettle also helps proper urination and also augments the action of the saw palmetto in arresting the enlargement of the prostate and even shrinking it. There's also zinc that helps maintain normal testosterone levels. Yes, the last time we were talking about infertility due to men. I mean, what we realized was that, men are lacking a lot of, the testosterone levels in men are reducing. So Prostenal, with its unique combination of the zinc in it, helps to sort of improve or keep the testosterone levels normal. Now, there are 3 variants of it. We have the Prostenal Forte, Prostenal Control, and Prostenal Night. So Prostenal Forte is just what I explained. It has saw palmetto, nettle, and zinc. Prostenal Control, because we are dealing with men aged 40 and above, we're looking at their reproduction as well. So we have additional herbs in it, like there's a herb in control called Tribulus terrestris. helps improves erectile function and improves libido. And also there's a last one, which is Prostinal Night, which is the one with the move box. So it has, in addition, ashwagandha. So I talked about patients waking up several times to wee in the night, and then you wake up so stressed. So ashwagandha helps you to relax. It helps improve the onset of sleep and maintenance of sleep, so that as you are solving your prostate issues or keeping your prostate in good health, there's ashwagandha also in one variant that helps to sort of relax you, have a good night's sleep, and improve your quality of life generally. So that is Prostinal.
I see. So Prostinal has three
variants. Yes.
Three variants.
Prostinal Forte, Prostinal Control. So the control, we are positioning for men after 40 who also have reproductive and sexual needs, and then Prostinal Night to help those with nocturia, especially waking up several times in the night, to have a good night's sleep and relax.
I'm sure the control will get finished.
You know, right? I think we've been doing a lot of work in the system, and what you are saying is so true, as if you knew.
Oh yes, a lot of men would go for that.
Even the women want it for their men.
Yes, I hear so.
Yeah,
I hear so. So look, we've talked about Prostinal, you've talked about everything that it does, but it's important for and if you just join us, we're having a very important conversation about Prostinal from NS Chemist, and that actually helps deal with BPH, that's benign prostatic hyperplasia. That's the enlargement of the prostate.
Yeah.
It's very important. If you are between the ages of 40, 50 and above as a man, you need to start getting this. So let's just go through it again. I mean, since we've indicated what it does, I want us, for purpose of emphasis, to tell us, what it does for the men, starting off with the Forte, Control, and the Night.
So as I said, basically, Prostinal is to address enlargement of the prostate. Mind you, there are three major things that can happen to your prostate. So we confuse an enlargement of the prostate with prostate cancer. There are two different things. The fact that you have an enlargement does not mean that you are going to have cancer. So there's prostatitis as well, which is more like an infection. So all these, they are indicators of it. So there's something we call PSA. So as we are doing all this, we're educating men as well. You need to check your PSA levels. Usually my doctors would tell me that, tell the patients, tell the clients to actually get their baseline PSA. So before you start, or just when you start, try to check your PSA. So I wish that Joy FM will organize this screening. So PSA is simply prostate-specific antigen. So these proteins are usually released into the blood normally. But when something happens to the prostate, or if it's irritated, it becomes more in the blood. So that's what an indicator of whether it's an enlarged prostate. So when you test your prostate PSA levels, it's not complete. You need to know whether it's just an enlargement, which is what we are talking about now, benign prostatic hyperplasia, or it's cancerous, or it's just an infection. Just bike riding alone could end you there, having your PSA levels high. So we need education on it a lot. So Prostinal is there for benign prostatic hyperplasia, the enlargement that leads you to all the symptoms I talked about, which is so inconvenient and then reduces your quality of life. So that is Prostinal. It has saw palmetto, nettle and zinc to help reduce the prostate and then to stop the enlargement. And then also I told you have additional herbs like the Trubulus terrestris, helping you to have improve your erectile function and then improve your libido. And then there's also ashwagandha in the other variant, which is helping you to have a good night's sleep. Yeah.
But for somebody listening who's actually concerned, the efficacy of these drugs, any research has been done to show that these drugs actually do the things that you're telling us?
Yes, there's copious research on especially saw palmetto. Saw palmetto is already on the market. We are saying that we are unique because of the combination of the nettle and the zinc. So I have with me some copious research with that combination of saw palmetto and nettle, and it's a lot of them. There's Sockland research, there's so many of them that actually does that kind of thing. And in Ghana as well, we are not collaborating yet, but we hope to collaborate with Kolebu Urology, for instance, to also test it in Ghana. But all the tests have been done. There are a number of questions that you ask a patient. Doctors are interested in improving your quality of life, so we call something IPSS score. So it's been taken through, and then these questions have been asked. For instance, your void volume, how much will you bring out, or what is left in, as well as whether there's hesitancy and all that. So there's been copious research on it, on this combination as well.
Yes, Clement, you want to make a point?
Yes. So, as we conclude, just to emphasize that the product which has now been launched can be found in any of our close to 50 wholesale and retail branches across the country. We are also stocking other non-NS chemist pharmacies across the country. So just walk into any of these facilities and you would have the product. There are 2 lines I just want to share. If you want to contact NS Chemist, you can call the main line 0302 908674 or on our WhatsApp line, which is 050 84 So any of our branches, including our very latest branch, which came up around the cantonment area. So within the cantonment and Flair, area, you have our cantonment branch, which just came up a few weeks ago. So walk into one of our branches, and then you have some of these products.
Anything you want to say finally, Isaac?
Just to say, Prostana has come to help patients a lot, and we have a good entry price. Everybody can, not everybody, of course. We want men to be aware of their prostate issues. So we are marketing the product as well as educating men. The fact that we need to do a lot of checkups and then keep our prostate in good health. Yes.
All right. Thank you very much, Isaac Mensah, who's Brands Manager at NS Chemist, and Clement Atagra, who's Marketing and Corporate Communications Manager, also at NS Chemist. Folks, you know what to do. You know what to get. Stay with us.
This boy, he will kill his own father and marry his own mother.
Prepare to be captivated by magic as the biggest play in the history of African theatre makes another stop this March. The gods are not to blame. Mark your calendars for Thursday 21st March, 7 p.m., Friday 22nd March, 7 p.m., and Saturday 23rd March at 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. at the National Theatre. Tickets are selling now at only 150 cedis at imagebureaugh.com or dial *714*11*21#. Rush. Don't miss this rejuvenated rerun of the epic tale of Odewale, The Gods Are Not to Blame, supported by Joy FM. Produced by Image Bureau in partnership with April Communications and the National Theatre, and proudly brought to you by the Ghana Tourism Authority and the Beyond the Return Secretariat.
Because all lizards lie prostrate. How can one tell which lizard suffers from bellyache?
Dive into a new era of news consumption with myjoyonline.com, your go-to destination for cutting-edge journalism, giving you the most credible stories from business to politics and from sports to entertainment. Myjoyonline.com introduces an upgraded news website meticulously designed to empower you with an enriched browsing experience like never before. Experience the future of news browsing with myjoyonline.com.
It's time to get you stepping. And with DSTV, the only way is up. Because if you upgrade your DSTV package now, you'll get an even higher package on us. So upgrade now and get boosted to enjoy even more live sport, movie action, local drama, and big-time fun for the kids. Upgrade now and get boosted to the next package. Visit your multi-choice office or agent and upgrade today. Terms and conditions apply.
Ago, mi herenya wawa tu, kemba gana nyon ye joy. Akwabo.
Miawezo.
Mama wana akwabo.
Barka da zuwan watan kasan Ghana a nan gidan Radio Joy.
Obenim busumi eye Ghana busumi.
Miawezo over Ghana month Jilla Joy 99.7 FM.
Akwaba eba Ghana month on Joy.
Mimabe Akwaba, what Ghana siani lile yazo, what joy. We invite all of you to join us this March as we celebrate Ghana here on Joy 99.7 FM.
During this Ghana month, you will be treated to our history, tourism, arts and culture,
our music, our food, language, beliefs, and all that makes us unique as a people.
Right here on Joy 99.7 FM. You'll also get to tell us stories about your region, town, or village and why we should make it a destination. Celebrating our uniqueness as a people.
Ghana Month on Joy FM.
Ghana Month on Joy.
Ghana Month on Joy.
Ghana Month on Joy.
Ghana Month on Joy is brought to you by Dodi World. Dream, discover, explore. Woodine. Step into elegance this March with Woodine by immersing yourself in the stunning mosaic collection, a true tribute to Ghana's vibrant culture. Vibe Ghana, vibe Woodine. Deep Solar Ghana. Don't let power outages hold you back any longer. Visit www.deepsolarghana.com or call 0595 494 113 to learn more. Coronation Insurance. Individuals, companies, insure your motors with Coronation. Coronation Insurance. Insurance for everything. Ghana Month on Joy. Joyously Ghanaian.
Ghana, we now have freedom. Come on, I say when you're at the food, it is not do be there.
This Easter holidays, that's Maha Beach Resort. Stay 2 nights and get the third night free with all meals inclusive, including dinner with live band every evening, starting from only 5,100 for a couple. From the 29th to the 1st of April 2024, package offers guests free access to all in-house facilities, swimming pool, gym, cinema with popcorn, board games, snooker, and entertainment. You also enjoy free airport pickups from TAC Radio on weekends. Terms and conditions apply. Fun activities include tour of our beautiful facility with an electric golf cart, splash playground for kids, bouncy castles, trampoline, bicycle rides, quad bike rides, boat ride to Mahar Village, jet ski, banana boat, party bus ride, and trip to Nzelezu. Maha Beach Resort is your one-stop holiday for all families, couples, groups, private parties and weddings, honeymoon, and a lot more. We also cater for corporate events and conferences. Call for your reservation now. To avoid disappointment, call us on 0303 977 or 0501 570684 or 0501 24114. Email sm@maharesort.com. Social media, Maha Beach Resort. Website, maharesort.com. But hey, tech titans and business champions thinking about the next step in business evolution, wondering how this next step affects your actual business advantage. You're lucky because MTN is hosting a second edition of the exclusive MTN Business CTIO Roundtable. This event-only event is your chance to mingle with industry rockstars. Real data gurus, AI wizards will be sharing their battle-tested strategies to unlock the power of data and AI for your business growth. The MTN CTIO Roundtable 2024 is scheduled for Wednesday, 27th March 2024 at 9 a.m. So Wednesday, 27th March, 9 a.m. sharp at the Labadi Beach Hotel. Spots are limited, so for inquiries, call 0543 669 175 or 0543 872 212. Let's turn data into your ultimate business weapon. See you there.
Coffee in your cup and joy on the set. The Super Morning Show is always the best at Joy 99.7 FM.
And that'll be all from us this morning here on the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. Thank you so much for joining us on behalf of the team led by Samuel Dami. My name is Winston Amwa. Keep listening to Joy on 99.7 FM. I leave you in the hands of DJ Wobeti.